Hey, welcome. How you doing? You see yourself? You up here? You lit? You got the whole chat lit already? Thank you so much for being here. Happy Friday, yo. Oh, I think you muted.
I was muted as fuck. What's up, you guys?
What's up? Oh, we got to give another round of applause. Hey, thank you so much for being here, for real. Welcome. Please give yourself an introduction to those that don't know you. I'm sure there are plenty of people already in here who I know for a fact, because I rated you one time. They was like, yo, this is a dope spot. Thank you for coming, for bringing us here.
Thank you. Well, I'm Novakane Omega. That's what I'm known by everywhere else other than Twitch, pretty much. But I'm Blak Gurl Gamr. I do lots of stuff. I'm an artist, first and foremost, and a musician, Emcee, and stuff like that. Do a little production. I'm definitely a DJ and a teacher, among other things. Yeah. That's me.
All right, so you got a long list, right? When I asked you to give me the bio, I really loved it, right? Because there's sometimes I'll have guests and I'm like, yo, send me the bio, send me the headshot or whatever. And the bio is like one sentence, right? It's like, yo, I play games on Twitch. I'm like, no, you more than that. You know, like I reach out to people that I'm truly interested in having conversation with. So I'm always like, no, don't put yourself in this box that like, yo, I just play games. No, you much more than that. But right. You, on the other hand, you gave me multiple paragraphs. I love that shit because one, it says a lot about you. You do a lot and you also passionate about it and you like to talk about it, and which you need to do, right? Because the work that we doing out here, if you doing it but you're not promoting it, then is really shooting yourself in the foot, because you could be doing the best work in the world, but if you're not talking about it, people don't know. So you know, what did you start off with first? Like what out of all the content creation things you do, what came first?
Art first. Just you know, as a child, just young, that was the first thing I was good at. That was the first thing I knew that I was good at. Being an artist, I could draw, you know, and then I went to like art high school and art college, you know, so that was my first love or whatever, before the music.
So drawing, like traditional drawing?
Traditional drawing initially, and then when I went to the governor's school for the arts, we started doing literally everything. So I've done, you know, lithography, and then of course they introduced us again to like an early form of Photoshop. I don't know how old you are or how old you guys are. You look really young, but you know, before people, you look like my man from this is a compliment, from Saved by the Bell.
I'm young, but I'm not that young. You know, I'm about to be 29, which like I don't consider young no more, right? Like I'm about to enter the 30s. I'm like, go, goddamn.
Live a little. That's pretty young. You still got 20 on in it. Like it still says 20.
You young at heart though. It don't matter. It's just the age. It's just a number.
I'm young. I ain't tripping. Yeah, I ain't But my point is, and I don't know how old you are to know about certain things, but Saved by the Bell, you look like my man's from that or whatever. That all the ladies love with the dimples. You know what I mean?
I'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah, definitely it is. Slater, thank you.
AC Slater.
Yeah, yo. Stop, yo. You crazy.
Yo, I never got that, so I'll take that shit. I never got that one.
Yeah, so that was it. So traditional drawing at first, and then I'm a mixed media artist. So most of the art I do I never just draw. It's gonna have at least some marker or I'll put some dirt in it if I got to. You know what I mean? Just draw with whatever. So, you know. But yeah.
Mixed media, I like that shit. Yo, I love that. I have to. All right, so somebody already has asked, and I know I've asked you this on Discord, but I'm gonna ask you here because I know that if I don't ask it, this is my man. This is like my IRL friend. This is my homie for life. I gotta ask. He said, "Can you spit something sometime in the stream?" Me and my man XAVE be spitting too. And I know I asked you already, right, Flazzy? I asked her. I was like, "Yo, would you be interested in doing a performance?" I don't really be
rhyming no more. I mean, I rhyme, but I don't have no, you know, like. I gotta think, like I don't even remember my shit no more. You know what I mean?
But you say you still write here and there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll never not be a musician. It's just that with Twitch, you know what I mean? Like I don't have time almost to do anything. Like and then now when I'm making music, a lot of the music because I can sing and stuff too. So a lot of the music I'm making is like house music. So you know, I just really haven't had a reason to rhyme. I rhymed so much, and I've rhymed so much, and I've rhymed so much. So it's kind of like. You know, I'm not gonna say I've outgrown it. I'll never outgrow it, but I'm just in another place in my life. You know what I mean? I've been rhyming since I was 15. I did it really, really. You know, I'm 43, so I've been doing it. You know, all my life, and then it kind of turned. You know, hip hop kind of turned to shit, I guess. And it did, and it really, really it hurt. It hurt. We kept doing it, but. You know, we tried to get on this way and that way. I've never had as much success as I've had just doing what I've been doing on Twitch and bringing attention to myself as an MC that way. But I'll see what I feel like.
Okay, yeah, because he asking, can you freestyle? My man really want to hear you rap, man.
I know how to free. I'm good at freestyling too.
Ooh, do you feel like, so when you were like really, really into it, like, because I made music for a long time too, and it was like the same process. Like you just get to a certain point in your life where other things become priority, so you don't do it as much. But it felt like when I was making it, I would walk through life, like whatever I was doing, there would just be random lyrics that would come up in my head, and I would jot them down on notepads or whatever in the little notes on iPhones and shit. And then all of a sudden one day, like, it just didn't happen as naturally anymore. Like the lyrics like didn't come as natural. So I would have to really, really, really sit down and be like, okay, like what is it that I want to write? And then to the point where like, you know, I'm just not writing period anymore. And
that's what happened.
That shit sucks. Like, because you do it for so long, and it's like, it's a genuine talent, right? Like it's a genuine talent to be able to rhyme and convey a message through lyrics like that. So like, I always hated like, fuck, why'd I stop doing this shit? Like I'm rusty as fuck now.
That's what it is. I'm rusty, and I don't want to get up here and because of course I definitely can freestyle. I mean that's whatever, but I'm just not even there. Like I'm doing it literally for you guys. Like, and there's a part. I'm the type of person like if I don't want to do something, I'll just be like, well, no, I don't want to do that. Like,
yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. You gotta be straightforward. It's better that than like
though as an MC being like, no, I don't want to. Like there's a part of me too that I'm a purist. So I'm like, okay, if someone asks you to rhyme, you do that shit. Now what I will do, since I'm, you know, here's one of my like 40 rhyme books. I might read some, you know, just read some shit from it. You know what I mean?
Beautiful, yes.
I know I won't forget. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
Words, because I don't want to fuck up my rhymes, and that's another thing. I believe in craftsmanship. So if I'm going to say the rhyme, I want to say it like the way I would say it if I really was going to say some shit. You know. So that's that. Yeah.
Hey, amazing. All right, so then I'm gonna definitely ask you about that in a second again. We have another question. What art style do you enjoy doing the most? Black and white, marker, paint? Like what do you like doing the most?
Markers and mixing markers with. I do graffiti and stuff, so I'm gonna always go for highlighters and markers and pens and pencils and stuff. You know, I don't really like a lot of charcoal and things like that can smudge. Like, you know, I mean, so yeah, mainly that. But I do acrylic. I do oil. Of course, I've done watercolor, gouache. I mean, you name it. Anything in art, I've done it. You know what I mean? Because I had so much schooling at it. But for sure, mixed media, pencils, pens, markers, and shit like that. Yeah.
That's amazing. And you said it a little bit. I want to touch on this. Like, why do you think it is that with rap you didn't see as much success as maybe you did with like house music or DJing or any of the other mediums that you do? Like, what do you think it was about rap that makes it a little bit harder to kind of break into, like, I guess, the industry?
That's a great question. Almost been signed quite a few times. There's different reasons. Sometimes it was because I was in a big ass group. I think had I been a solo act, I would have probably gotten more of a break in or a breakthrough. But it just changed the sensibilities of I got good in the 90s. I'm from the 90s. I started rhyming in 96, 95, late 95. So, you know, hip hop was absolutely amazing at this time.
Yeah.
And then this is that time that I'm kind of referring to where I come from the era where you have to be sharp. So that's the reason why I'm like reluctant to do it right now, because I'm like, I'm not put it like this. I'm not going to say I'm not sharp. I'm sharp, but I'm not steeped in it anymore. Like playing the house, I'm twitching. I'm somebody's mom and some more shit. I be having to stop and make dinner. I ain't got time to write rhymes all night. So like I used to, you know. But not breaking into it too is because the industry is flooded with people who do it. It's very, very saturated. So it's just like anything. If everyone on the block has crack, you know, your crack don't stand out no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can have crack too, but he has crack. And then the bar of what is being called crack has changed. Like to me, a lot of the people say, oh, he really can rhyme to me. For me, it don't really be that impressive because I come from the era where you rhyme like fucking Black Thought and Redman and Busta Rhymes and Andre 3000 and with like a lethal, really, really lyrical style of rhyming.
Yeah,
and now, like when people hear me rhyme now, they say shit like, "Oh, you be rapping," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know what they mean though." Because
I know, yeah, they trying to say you like a lyrical like a Kendrick.
I'm lyrical, exactly, and that's the way I rhyme. I rhyme just like that, like a Kendrick or somebody like that. And so, the industry made it so there's only room for a few people that do that. They did that on purpose, and then the rest is just really watered down, and it makes it easy for record labels to manufacture artists. Also, women became this thing in rap that's not, you know, I just don't fit in it. You know what I mean?
What you mean by that?
Well, after Lauren, it's almost like they decided you could see that the record labels all decided, like, we're not going to sign any more women who can just really rhyme. We're going to get these stripper type bitches up here. You know what I mean? And, you know, I mean, it's just it's just obvious that they decided to just narrow everything down a lot and make it so only a few people could squeeze through. And if you're gonna squeeze through, you need to be shaking that ass or something. You know what I mean? So now it's like, boy, this pussy talk, you know, and a person like me would just be considered underground or whatever it is. So, you know, the industry changed. The sensibilities of what everybody wanted changed. In the 90s, you really, really had to rhyme. Early 2000s, it was starting to wane away. Here comes Puffy and them with the shiny suits and all that shit. And then it just kind of just dumbed down. And it's like it never returned. It never went back. So there's people like Kendrick and there's a few people out here, but it's just everybody else is just, you know. So I just kind of feel like a dinosaur sometimes, but not I don't feel irrelevant at all. I feel cutting edge actually. But it would be like if a dinosaur came from the past and was out here. They would be original as shit, standing out like a mug because it's a fucking dinosaur.
It's a fucking dinosaur, yeah.
But they're out of place. I'm just not motivated. When I used to listen to the rhymes of, you know, all I had to do was literally listen to the radio. I mean, and on the radio were literally like Tribe Called Quest and Redman, and they were on the radio. Now, if you want to hear that, you know, you got to go on YouTube or play your own music collection. But they're not going to play it. The top 40 just ruined everything. It ruined everything. Yeah.
So let me just read a couple comments and then I want to continue with that because that's a beautiful statement. My man Flazzy said, "I love your soul, girl. Keep up that great energy. It's beautiful." And he said, "Ms. Hill, oh, I love her. We don't get that no more." Yeah, it feels like you just didn't, like, after that, like it went to Lil Kim and then Missy Elliott, I think, was a little different. I like Missy because Missy wasn't as sexualized as like a Nicki Minaj or a Cardi B, but it definitely, like, you don't see like a Lauryn Hill anymore, and that is crazy to me. My man Nikki said, "I heard shaking the ass from the bathroom and had to come back." Hey. And I was
even with Missy, like, she's from here. I'm in Virginia Beach, right? So this is where Pharrell is at, and Timberland and all that. So, you know, Missy, exactly. And see, I have a whole, we don't look at these people the way the rest of you guys do. We don't look at Pusha T the way you do. We don't look at Missy the way you do. We don't listen. When Missy first came out, we didn't like Missy. We weren't mad at her. The industry was lumping her in with like lyricist and like Emcee, and she was like he out. And we were like
a female Busta Rhymes kind of.
Well, no, because Busta Rhymes is lyrical as fuck. Busta Rhymes is one of the rhymingest people on earth.
So you don't think Missy is that lyrical?
Not at all. I mean,
damn.
Do you? I mean, to me, she makes dance music. She makes, you know, everybody here, get your body. That's not, you know, that's not, we don't. So no one was mad at her per se, even though I guess they were, but it wasn't her fault. It was the industry's fault. Like, they would put her, Missy is a singer and a songwriter more so. Missy's more R&B than she is a lyricist. But because there's so few women, you have to kind of cling to Missy now, you know what I mean, or whatever. So as time went on, like, we thought she was corny. We thought she was corny, and we were a bit pissed because there's a lot of people in this area. This area, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, like 757, is a special soul here, kind of like Detroit or kind of like Philly or something like that. There's a lot of really, really musical people here, but only the producers kind of really broke through. And so when they finally brought MCs from here, the first people were Missy and like Magoo and shit, and we were like, boo. And I remember one time they came and they performed, and they had some people handed out some CDs before they came on stage, and then they came on, and it was Magoo or whatever he was calling himself, and they were like, love to love ya, and the people threw CDs at them, you know. So there, even Timberland is corny. He's talented as hell, but to us, he's corny. Like, he's a corny guy. Yeah. Same with Pharrell. Pharrell is a kind of a vanilla. I mean, you know, I can't really explain.
Because I'm happy.
Yeah, you know, these people are musicians, like, you know what I mean? They're not just like some hip hoppers. Like, Pharrell is like a talented ass musician from music school with Chad and all that shit. So we knew the area, and there's so many other women out here and men who could have broken the ice of like putting this area on the map, who are way lyrical, like Blak Thought in them, but none of them got any shine. And it's like, well, let's dive all over them to kind of get this more not cookie cutter, because Missy's not cookie cutter. Nothing cookie cutter about Missy. But I love
just more commercial, Missy. Like marketable,
more
commercial ready.
Really simple lyrics, really kind of, just some stuff you
Yeah.
radio ready, club ready stuff. Missy's a dancer and a singer to me more so than an MC any day of the week. But we have to hold on to her because they made it so there's no other women that they were going to ever sign anymore. And it's just like we stopped signing real women artists like a long time ago. And the same with Pusha T. Y'all, people from outside of there's a guy from this area named Ambassador Rick, a really dope MC or whatever. And he gets his shine and stuff or whatever. But he made this song about Pusha T. Pusha T and them really portray an image that is not them at all. They're from Virginia Beach is a very vanilla place. When you're from Virginia Beach, it's not rough like that. It's not rough. There's hardly no real projects in Virginia Beach. There's a few places that will be considered the projects, but if you roll by them, you wouldn't know that was the projects. It looks nice. Meanwhile, here in Norfolk, we got some real projects. So when we were performing back in the day, there was this dope ass underground joint called Word of Mouth, and all of the people who were worth anything, whoever were worth anything from this area, like Dram comes from here too. So we performed with Dram a few times or whatever.
Okay.
So the real underground shows and stuff, we was doing our thing. Word of Mouth was one of the dopest like staple things out here. So Pusha T and them had just came out with Grinding, and then they pull up in this limo to the joint, and then they hop out and take a bunch of photos, and then they perform, and then they leave, and they're not like a part of the scene like that.
Yeah.
So, and not only that, the video Grinding, they went to Norfolk to a project that they're not from
to shoot
the video so they can look like some drug dealing ass dudes, and they're not, y'all. Pusha T is not no pusher like that.
That's crazy because all his music is about that. Like, it's purely cocaine bars.
And he's not that dude. And so Ambassador Rick, who really is a fucking street dude, he called him out. He's not the only one, you know what I mean? So it's hard for me. And then when you try to tell people that, they actually get mad at you. And I'm like, but I know these niggas. You don't. Like, I'm telling you that wouldn't you want to know that the person that you think is portraying a thing, wouldn't you want to know that they're not really that thing, so you could stop spending all your money and time listening to them, really believing in what they're saying? And then me, I come from an era too, probably about to make some people mad with this. I love Outkast. In fact, Andre 3000 is my favorite MC.
Yeah, Andre is nice.
Most influential MC in my life. Wow. When I was first writing rhymes, that they were in their heyday. Like, Goody Mob and casting them, I really, really like them. So yeah, Dre 3000 is the beast. Again, from art school. He's an art dude from art school. But when I might make a few people mad with this, but I don't care. I don't like whiny rhymes. I'm from just before that, when cats rhymed hard. So when I hear, I can't say I won't change. I don't like dude's voice. He sounds ratty to me. He sounds like a rat.
Who is that? Who are you talking about?
Pusha T.
Oh, Pusha T.
Like, that's how it sounds like. Kanye sounds like that to me too. Like,
so I gotta ask. So when you talk about whiny rhymes, are you talking like a J. Cole? No, you like J. Cole.
I do like J. Cole. I don't like J. Cole as probably as much as younger people would. But yeah, I fuck with J. Cole.
What makes someone whiny then? Because I feel like people often will call J. Cole whiny and corny.
He might be whiny and corny. I don't know, but I haven't heard all the whiny, corny music that people are talking about. To me, he's making some strong music about some strong topics. Music about real life. Where you can fucking, he makes music. He's a musician where he's like, making a song about, okay, this woman, a cheating relationship, and then this is about my adolescence. This is about whatever. That's a musician for me. Where you're an MC, but you're rapping about all these different things. You feel like J. Cole when you hear J. Cole's rhymes because he talks about his life. Common talks about his life. Eminem talks about his life. These are people that are real lyricists. They take life and put it in rhymes. And it's not like putting on a show all the time.
So what about Drake? My man just said, did you mean Drake?
Drake has a whiny voice. Drake is a talented person.
Yeah.
Kanye is talented, and so is Pusha T. I'm not removing their talent. I'm not saying that they can't do nothing and they're whack and I'm better than them and none of that. It's just a taste thing.
So that's what.
I'm a woman. I don't really like to hear a whiny man. I don't like to hear whiny man raps. I like to hear hardcore grab your dick man raps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So then this brings me to this. Do you think that there's like a time and place for that type of music? Like, because, I'm not trying to go into the club and listen to J. Cole songs, but I love J. Cole. I've seen J. Cole perform, and J. Cole is a fucking monster. He has a special place in my heart from the music he was making and like the certain time period in my life that I was listening to that. But, when I go to the club, I'm trying to hear 1, here comes the 2 to the 3. I'm trying to listen to like boom, boom.
Yeah.
And like, but so do you think there's a time and place?
Definitely. Club music. See, I come from an era where you would make those type of MCs. dope MCs would still make a club joint. You make club joints for the club, for women to shake their ass to, for people to get drunk to, or whatever. But I'm also from an era where still dope ass music was still being played in the club too, because the songs that were on the radio weren't like top 40 commercial. They were really good music still. Like, I mean, if you think about, I don't know, let me name something like Uber commercial, but that still came out, you know, and it's like dope.
Wait, when?
Back, you know, I'm
like
just,
an early Lil Wayne?
No.
You said no.
No, well, just because that's not what I meant. But he's another person. He, especially at first, Lil Wayne is lyrical as shit.
Yeah, he's so lyrical.
You gotta realize I'm conscious. Like, I study about like Black history shit and race and and culture. So it's also, that's a part of what I look for when I want to like an MC. If they never talk about anything real in life that really matters to us as a people, especially Black people, we're going through a lot. So all this partying and bullshitting,
it's like distractions.
Cute. Yeah, it's cute. We got some room for that, but all our music is that? Nah. You know, and so my point is, even in the club, you would hear some real good music, because real good music was still on the radio too. So when the radio changed, what people wanted to hear in the club also changed. You know, but I don't want to hear the same shit I just heard on the radio at the club either. I don't want to go to the club and hear the same shit that I just heard 40 fucking times. Why would I want to do that?
Facts.
Yeah. You know,
my man said, you like that roughneck music? You know what that means? I asked him, he said, I'm sure she knows.
I don't know. I gotta get a rough. See, y'all
it's an old school music. What is that, Flazzy? I didn't know either. And then he was like, yo, she'll know.
No, I know. He's talking about no, see, everything you say just takes me on this journey, because the roughneck era was an attack on hip hop. When that came, there's this letter that came out, and it's called the meeting that changed hip hop forever. You should look it up one day. Google it. There was this person, he was an A&R for a record label. He didn't name the record label, and he remained anonymous, but he wrote this letter. He's like, this has been on my heart for years, and I can't take it anymore. I have to. So I don't know if the letter's real, but it feels real. So y'all got to remember, hip hop was not negative. Hip hop was not a negative music. Even if you had gangster people, let's say somebody like Ice-T. Ice-T made kind of more gangster type stuff about gang life. He had this song called Colors and stuff, but there was always a message in the music like, hey, don't do what I'm doing. Early when we watched The Road to the Riches by Kool G Rap. Kool G Rap was rapping about being a gangster and all that, but he was talking to a child like, don't you be a gangster, because at the end of this road is jail or death. So it's kind of like, yeah, the streets is real and this is what's going on in the streets, but it wasn't a glorification of it. It was more just like either a warning or just a description of what was going on. For the most part though, hip hop was positive. And Public Enemy and the conscious movement with the African medallions and all of that shit. And then all of a sudden, here comes the niggas with attitudes. And hip hop changed completely after that. It turned into Minister Society. They would be in, and Ice Cube was conscious. Ice Cube used to openly rap about not eating pork, and he used to meet with Farrakhan and stuff like that. He was conscious. But he was being used by the industry to portray a certain image of a gangster lifestyle or whatever. And so what supposedly happened was there was this meeting where a few A&Rs from choice record labels met in a place, and basically the people who own these record labels had decided to start investing in private prisons. Now you guys may not know that prisons aren't usually owned by the government. A lot of them are private. They're just companies that have prisons. So they want to fill them up. They get money for a certain amount every time they get a inmate in there. They get there's money for that they get quotas. They also and they have them making tables and chairs and all kinds of shit in there. So they make a lot of money. With the prison, it's big business. So supposedly at this meeting, they wanted the A&Rs to start only signing people who would rap like NWA and Snoop and all of that. And then my husband, Culture Chronicles, who's 6 years older than me, so he really remembers. He was like, I remember it was like overnight. I remember it too, but I'm a little younger than him when it happened. But it was like overnight. Hip hop was conscious, and then the next day, it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none, yo. Snoop and all them, Dre and all them. It's like they got used, Death Row in general, got used to push this certain image across hip hop that wasn't really what hip hop stood for initially. You know what I'm saying? It used to be, who you calling a bitch? UNITY, you know, whatever. And then it turned into Lil Kim, like, I'm rich. I'ma stay that bitch. And not only that, we loved it. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I didn't like the shit. I was young. So And then after a while, no one could remember when it wasn't like that, you know, and it just became normal for hip hop to be this negative ass music. And it wasn't like that before. So it doesn't have to be old school. Just music don't need to be negative as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And then rhyme, sorry, these people these days rhyme rinky dink as fuck. They cannot rhyme like that to me. To me, they just not lyrical like that.
Yeah, my boy say you on fire right now. You are, because that's a good ass story. And some like one part of me like distinctly kind of remembers like reading something like that, like early days of like Facebook or like MySpace. I kind of remember reading some shit like that, because it's funny, man. I used to listen to like underground music. Like when I first got into rap, it was like Immortal Technique, Cannabis, Army of the Pharaohs, like Jedi Mind Tricks. I used to listen to like underground music.
You know about Jedi Mind Tricks? What you know about that, young blood?
That was the shit that I loved, because it was just bars, and like I would listen to that shit and I was like, yo, this shit is amazing. And then I don't know what happened, but like it felt like one day all of a sudden I was being called like, yo, that music sucks, that shit is corny. And then all my homies were listening to like, I don't know, what did they switch over to? I felt like Kanye at that time, at like early 2000s, like Kanye. I loved Eminem. Eminem was great to me. He really represented like that teenage angst, like that adolescence, like I'm fucking mad. Like I love that shit, because
and
like
he raps about his life. He's a real MC, and he looks up to all the same motherfuckers I do.
He studies that shit too. That dude studies that shit like it's a science. It's beautiful. But I don't know what the fuck happened. All of a sudden it became corny to be lyrical. Like it was more all of a sudden about flows and shit. And I don't know when that transition happened, but the story you're telling about it makes complete sense. And I've heard people talk about that now, like in today's age, where they'll say like, you know, DaBaby is basically a walking commercial for private prisons, because what does he do? He just raps about going out and shooting other black men. And that's all it is.
And that's normal. Most of you guys who listen to hip hop and you listen to, in your minds, it's normal to listen to us rap about killing each other, because that's just how normal that shit is. It's how 30 years ago, like, you know, they started that, and it hasn't stopped. It has just been intense. And even the MCs that we liked, that we considered to be the thorough real MCs, do that to an extent. It's not like Redman ain't never rap about shooting nobody. It's not like even Busta and certain people, they rap, they talk their shit. I'm from shit talking era. I talk shit in my rhymes. But I'm not going to portray something. It's children out here, y'all. It's children out here. We can't just be saying anything in this music. We're the only people in the world who make music about killing each other like that. Nobody does that. No, Asian people ain't like, yo, you chink, you fucking Asian ass chink, I'm gonna kill you. But we the ones like, yo, nigga, if you've come in my territory, nigga, you know what I mean, blah, blah, blah. So the world is watching us do this to ourselves. So why would the world respect us as people in the world? You know what I mean? So the racism, the racial war between the whites and blacks is still being played out. But particularly when the music got taken over, that's because y'all got to remember, when hip hop first came out, white people didn't like it. MTV didn't play any of it at first. MTV only played white people's music. It was called music television, but the only people up there were white people. And it was David Bowie who was like, yo, y'all gonna ever play some black music? Being that most of the music we do came from black people, are we ever gonna play any black music? And called him out on it, you know, because how you can call this shit music television, right? So they stopped doing that. And I think the first video they played was either by Prince or Michael Jackson. But then after a while, Yo MTV Raps came, and then white society and commercial society started really realizing the commodity that hip hop is and how powerful it is. And it's easy to produce a hip hop record and manufacture a hip hop artist, because they don't have to know how to play no instruments. They don't have to know how to do anything. All you got to do is get a beat maker. You don't need a band. You don't need anything. You don't even need a DJ.
They don't even need to write.
They don't even need to write anymore. So this is the reason why the music sounds like this. The music industry decided, okay, yeah, hip hop is like $1 billion. What are we doing? We sitting here hating on it, trying to be racist. Don't beat them, join them. But when we join them, let's influence the direction it goes in to remove all the power out of it, so that it doesn't have that grassroots. You know, hip hop was ours for a while, and we controlled what was dope and what was biting was whack. Copying another person's rhymes was whack or whatever. If Lil' Kim had come out and then Nicki Minaj came out right behind her in them times, everybody would be like, boo, you knockoff ass Lil' Kim. You know what I mean? But now it's just like, people get mad if you point out that this bitch is just Lil' Kim again. You know what I mean? She literally calls herself Barbie and all that. There's a whole video where Lil' Kim is a Barbie, and there's all these heads going, wigs going on her head and all this shit. And she even represents a degradation of hip hop, because before her, nobody would ever rap like Lil' Kim rapped about drinking no nut and all that. She used to talk crazy talk. But we knew every lyric. We knew every rhyme. I knew every rhyme. That shit was bumping.
Yeah. You know what I miss too? Let me read a couple of comments. My man Flazzy, that's what sells now. Meanings don't matter no more. It's only numbers. Yeah, it's not about the message anymore. And that's what I miss. Yo, Persona, welcome. If there's anybody that should be in this conversation, it's my man Flazzy and Persona. These are two real ass people. Be ourselves and break the barriers of the stereotypes. For sure. I miss like genuine, like, that's what I loved about Eminem too. I used to like go on YouTube and I would watch his like diss tracks and his like beef. You remember that show like Beef, where they would like describe all the like hip hop beefs? I love that shit because it was like all on wax, right? Past like the Biggie Tupac thing and the West Coast East Coast beef, it all stayed on mostly it stayed on wax. It wasn't no more just like killing each other, but it was genuine disses. And a good diss could really end somebody's career. Like, nobody would listen to them anymore if they got dissed so bad they were like, yo, that's it. But nowadays, like, you get into a beef with somebody, what happens? It's all about like, oh, well, you don't sell as many records as me,
right? So
that's it. I'm not even gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna respond to this. You don't sell as many records as me. And then all the fans on Twitter, on Instagram, it's all like, nah, your favorite artist don't sell as much as my favorite artist. And it's like, yo, these numbers, one, are so inflated too. Like the whole streaming shit is so different. Like I remember, right? I remember going to Times Square because I live in New York, and people would be handing out CDs. And it was a grind as a motherfucker to get your music out. I did that. Yeah, handing out CDs was a grind. Nowadays, you share your link and it's cool because there's less gatekeeping now. Anybody can make music, anybody can upload it, and there's not as much as that record label gatekeeping. But at the same time, it's like, yo, these numbers don't mean shit, because like you could just have, I don't know, like somebody play your song like 100,000 times or whatever, but it don't reach the amount of people it used to. If somebody bought your CD back in the day, they went to FYE to buy the CD, that meant some shit. They were putting money into that. They were taking that was some physical thing. The CDs came with art sometimes. Like, that shit was beautiful. Nowadays it's like, yo, I'm gonna stream this for free, and like it loses its value so much. Yeah, it just doesn't have the same weight. And I think you analyzed that perfect, because it is good that we can forego. That's why I like Twitch. It is good that we can and let me give music some credit, because it's been like this for a while now, where people can stream and make their own websites and do whatever they got to do. That is bringing music is trying to come back to me, like craftsmanship, music, the fact that people can just sit at home and just be a one-man band. You can make all your own beats, you can do all your own stuff. It opens up a lot of creativity that you don't have to answer to anyone. So I think music is starting to take a little turn again, and that's good. But a lot of people have like literally died. Like, people have died. People have really suffered because of the way hip hop has been used. I mean, and now you got drill music and shit like that, I mean, it's just literally about killing somebody. Like, I don't know if you saw recently, the mayor of New York went and sat down with a bunch of Brooklyn drill rappers. Like, I think Fabio Foreign was there, and he was trying to have this conversation with them. I don't know what ended up coming from it. I don't think they televised it or anything. I just saw the picture afterwards where it was Eric Adams sitting down with a whole bunch of drill rappers, and he was trying to have a conversation with that, because like he sees it. Drill rap in Brooklyn is huge. And don't get me wrong, like Pop Smoke music, that's my workout music right there. Shit like the way to dance, like that shit just hits hard, like that fucking 808. I've mixed that shit with house. I've mixed it with house shit. Like, that's just his voice is so good, and then the beat is just that 808 is so boom, like that shit. I run to that shit, and I'm like, yo, I could keep running, and I like it, but at the same time, I'm like, shit. There's like a crime wave going on right now in New York. Like, it's real bad. People getting stabbed in the subways, fucking being hit in the head with hammers. The other day I saw some shit. This man came up to this woman and just shoved human feces in her face. She was just sitting there. He came up to her, just rubbed the feces in her face, and walked away like it was nothing. So like, it's real bad out here. I would have the fuck out of that mother. I would have I would have brought my foot up like fucking Ryu and Ken, bitch, and brought that shit down on the top of that motherfucker's dome so goddamn. And then I would have kissed him in his mouth with all that spit in my goddamn mouth, all that shit and spit, COVID, all that shit right in his mouth, yo. Yo, we laugh about it shit, but this was like a little, like, she didn't even want to be on the TV. They blurred her face out and shit. She's a little Spanish lady. Devastating. Yeah, she was like really scared as fuck, because like, you don't know, right? Like, all right, it's feces. This shit sucks. This is ass. But what happens if you start trying to fight back, and then all of a sudden, boom, you fucking knife to the fucking to the ribs? Yeah, no doubt. It's just
certain shit. It don't matter. I guess I just would have lost my life that night.
Yeah. I guess.
No, this mother. I guess I would have just whipped my knife out. Knife fight.
I whip out my human feces and rub it in his face.
Yo.
I carry this shit on me.
Hey, let me whip out my doodoo pack right quick. Yeah. You know what I mean? My doodoo balloon.
And for real, like, it sucks because I thought, like, with the year that we had in 2020 with the George Floyd protests and everything and the Black Lives Matter movement, that you would have seen like a bit of a change. But what did you see? Instead, you saw DaBaby kind of appropriating this movement where he made a remix to his song, and like he made 8 bars, right? He had the song already, Rockstar, which already was the song. And what he did was just put 8 bars on top of it where he kind of talked about police brutality. And then it went right back into the normal song, which was about killing people, where it was like, yo, what the fuck? You're not doing anything. All you're doing is literally appropriating this movement right here and just using it to sell more records. And I thought that after that year, maybe something would have changed where it would have been like, yo, there should be more solidarity within our community where, we already got to deal with so much bullshit, whether it's through police, whether it's through fucking shitty policies that these politicians are making. We need to be out there looking for each other, but it didn't spark that wave. Like, all I saw after that was just more fucking of the same music that promotes killing.
Yeah. I mean, these record labels they've joined. I mean, they're big conglomerates. It's kind of like Disney buying up literally everything, Fox and Marvel and everything it bought, and Hulu and ESPN and all the different things it bought. It's the same way with the record labels. I mean, there's just really a few of them. It's Sony, Sony, Interscope, whatever, and they're all Warner Brothers. It's like 4 or 5 big conglomerate, and they just bought everybody out. And so at the end of the day, no one can really contend with them. If you have Vivo, speaking of doing numbers, I'm like, the numbers is Vivo. Like, it's not you just doing numbers. It's the power of a corporation to shove some shit down in somebody's mouth. And then, what can they do? What can they do? If this is the rate, that's why, I don't know. I'm glad that there is. Well, at least now, like, I haven't listened to the radio in many years because
facts.
I can just pick what I want to hear. I can just hand pick and cherry pick what I want to hear, and it's great. But it kind of separates me from society sometimes. I don't even know. You're like, oh, DaBaby, like I can't even I can't even sing a baby. I don't know no baby song.
It's for the best. Honestly, that's the best thing about Spotify and all these like streaming sites, right? Because they got a lot of problems. I've heard like they don't pay artists shit, right? Artists don't make nothing for the streams on there. It's crazy.
Just barely. Yeah, just
barely, right? But the one good thing is that you now have the choice of whatever you want to listen to. It's no longer that gatekeeping where it used to be you would hop in your car and all you could listen to was whatever the radio told you they wanted to play. And I used to get so tight at that shit because they would have people call in, right? It seemed like a fake ass call in because they would be like, yo, thank you for calling in. What you want to hear today? Oh, I want to listen to, and they would name the same fucking song that was already being played on the radio. I was like, yo, how do I get on here?
Clear channel. They bought all the radio stations out. So there's no. It used to be that a DJ. That's why I love Twitch so much. It used to be that a DJ would break records. You would put a record out. You would play a record that no one ever heard, and then like how Wu-Tang got on or whatever. They passed the CDs out. They passed their tapes out, and then they called up to the radio station over and over until the radio station started playing the songs. You know what I'm saying? And when we were young, that's why I'm glad that the Wu Saga came out so we could see kind of the story behind that. Because they're also like my favorite like group is
Wu-Tang. Yeah. Who's your favorite member?
It's a toss up between Jizza and I ain't gonna front lyrically. That go hard, yeah. That go hard. But I really like. I don't know. It's hard. You got to. It depends on.
My man Flazzy said ODB. He love ODB too.
I love ODB too.
I love METHOD, man. I love that dude.
ODB. Yeah,
Method Man is good as fuck. That might be one of my favorites.
Yeah, they dope. Yeah, I don't know. So my point is they had this skit on their joint and they used to be like, Wu-Tang, what you want to hear, man? Yo, you got that Wu-Tang? And they'd be like, yeah, Wu-Tang. Oh yeah, again and again. And so we got to see the show and see kind of like the story behind that. And that was just them pretending to be other niggas, calling up there saying, hey, play the Wu-Tang. And then eventually they did start playing the Wu. And that's how they got on. And so it's just, and that's how it used to be here. You would hear local artists on the radio station sometimes because we got college radio and stuff. And so, you hear local people on there, and you just don't anymore. You just don't. College radio a lot of times is playing the same shit that commercial radio is playing, and it's just so all of that leads back to why I'm just tired of rhyming. Another reason why I get tired of rhyming, even though I'm working on, I just wrote some rhymes last week, and I owe like 2 people some rhymes now, so I'm kind of coming back. But is I've written so many rhymes and I've heard so many rhymes. So just after a while, how many times can I hear you rhyme circumstance with, you know what I mean, take your chance with, you know, whatever it is.
Pull
like,
off your pants.
You know what I mean? Pull off your pants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bitch with no pants. Like, how many times can I hear you or anyone say it before I'm not impressed? And then because people have become less lyrical, I'm even less impressed. I don't want to hear no nursery rhyme ass shit. I just don't.
Yeah.
Except when it's dope. There's a place for a nursery rhyme when the beat and the thing calls for it. One reason why I like M, and see, I'm a woman, so there's certain things I don't like about Eminem.
Of course, yeah. It's a
like
lot of
Kim.
misogyny up in those early raps.
Like Kim, you know, the song where he's
he's literally killing her. Yeah, he's
killing his baby mom, and he's getting his daughter to help him dispose of the body and some more shit. M is a little much.
You think M would have made it if he came out in today's like climate? Like, I think about this all the time. I'm like, yo, I don't know if Eminem would have made it if his career like hit the peak during social media age, because like
probably not. They would have PC'd him to death.
Canceled.
They would have been. Yeah, and he caught some flack when he was saying the shit about gays or whatever he was saying, and he had to apologize. And then
the Elton John,
like, the Elton John joint and stuff like that. So yeah, no, definitely. I think it would have been a different story. M struck at the right time. M struck at a time where you know, a lot of people, you know, I don't know. He represented. M is real hip hop. So it's one of those people that I don't always agree with M. I don't always like some of the shit that M says. But I don't care, because that's how a real MC should be. They're a person. Yep. So there should be things about them that you do and don't like. Not just you just say what I want to hear all the fucking time. So I feel like I know him because I know his mother had Munchausen. I know that she was, you know, he come from the trailer park, and I know, you know what I mean? You know what he's going through. You know he has a daughter. You know he has, even though he was killing her in the joint, a baby mama, you still know, you know her name, you know that he has one. He's a person. Yep. And he even has a lot of songs about being imprisoned by his own fame and dealing with the devil and, you know, and different things. That's why I like him. I don't have to like every painting you do. If you're thorough, if you're authentic, I like that. I don't have to like it. I don't have to like everything you make. You know.
So what you think about Kanye? Because that's the next one that's like real polarizing to people, especially these like last like 5 years. Like early on, Kanye obviously like ruffled feathers and shit. He would always say things that would get under people's skin and shit. But like it really feels like nowadays like he's kind of lost like the people, and like I've seen Kanye twice in concert. Like to me, when it comes to concerts, there's no production better. Like that man really puts all his time into like, he had a mountain, right? This mountain fucking split in half, and then it looked like lava was coming out, and then all of a sudden Jesus walked out, and like he had the man, like it was crazy. The production was so crazy. But then what do you feel about him as like an artist and like kind of where he's at today?
I don't like him.
You don't like Kanye?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'll say yeah.
I almost never liked him.
Damn, not even early college dropout, because that's what I always hear.
Cool. You gotta realize, I don't know if I can find this anywhere, but when he first came out, Black Thought said it sounded like Nickelodeon rhymes. He said his rhymes sounded Nickelodeon. That's why he has that skit on the end of one of them albums where, you know, he had to fight. I'm happy for Kanye, because Kanye is like, no, y'all are gonna accept me as an MC. You're not just gonna accept me as a producer. You're gonna accept me. I'm gonna make you accept me. You know what I mean? But again, I'm conscious. I'm a conscious Black person. So Kanye means more to me than maybe some other people. He represents a lot. He's a troll. He trolls people. He trolls Black people. I don't like that shit. Every 5 minutes, he's doing some shit where he knows it's gonna make us mad. First, for one, he had on all that Confederate shit he was wearing.
Yeah.
Why? Just so people can. He's not happy unless he's in the news every 5 minutes and someone's debating about whether they like him or not. I don't find him to be a genius. I just don't. He's dope. The reason why he seems like a genius to everyone is because everybody else fucking sucks. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. He's the fucking one-eyed man. You know, when the era he comes from, all the producers produce like that. Have you ever heard some Marley Marl fucking beats? RZA? Nobody's like, RZA's a genius. No one's saying that. But RZA, if you're gonna say that Kanye's a genius, then RZA's a fucking genius. You can't just put genius on every
persona. Yeah, my man Persona in here.
You can't just put genius on every person because you think they're dope. For one, I'm from hip hop. Underground hip hoppers are dope. I know a lot of people who've been making beats since they was 12 and 13. That's not abnormal in the world. When you are a real MC and you come up in the underground circuit, you can name 5 and 6 and 7 people who make beats like Kanye or better. But because he has a light shined on him, I'm gonna tell you this. If I had gotten signed, I would be right there. I've been compared to Lauryn Hill so many times in my life. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
I don't rap like her at all. It's just because she's dope. But most people only know her, so that's all they have to compare it to. So in their mind, it's like, you know what I mean, or whatever. But when he showed up with the Confederate shit. Then he showed up with the Baphomet, with the devil worship clothes on. Then he wanted, and now his church music. And he's Yeezy. He's Jesus. He's Yeezus.
He was Yeezus. Now he's Ye.
The way he talked to Sway.
You ain't got the answers. Yeah.
I hate him. After
I
can't. He was so fucking disrespectful to that man on that show. And Sway, for one, Sway is his elder. We all grew up watching Sway on fucking MTV. He always had a head wrap. He never compromised his blackness or nothing. But he always was in news and stuff like that. He's Sway. He's a respectful person. He introduced Kanye with the utmost respect. He rolled out the carpet, spread all his butter on Kanye, just for Kanye to come in there and talk to him like he wasn't shit. And you don't know what it's like to lose millions of dollars, and I'm whining. I'm marginalized, and I'm the black Steve, and I'm tired of him being the black white everybody. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear that shit.
He will take any opportunity to compare himself to Michael Jackson.
And Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and anybody else who is, because usually it's somebody white. It's rarely, I wish I had heard him say Michael Jackson. It's usually somebody white. He's always talking about some white people.
I'm the Black Steve Jobs,
I'm the black
Walt Disney.
I don't like that shit.
Yeah.
I don't like that shit. And I don't like the way he talks to other black people who, Sway showed him all the respect. He wouldn't even look at Sway. He was looking straight ahead like a bitch, and he wouldn't even look at that man. And Sway eventually was like, yo, we could turn these cameras and shit off, fam.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, I'm having you on my show. You gonna talk to me like that?
So I want to know though, because the reason I brought him up was because what you were saying about Eminem was kind of like, okay, look, he's an artist, he's a person, he goes through his things and he expresses that. You don't gotta like every single thing that he does, but there seemed to be more of a respect for him because of those things that you were saying about him. You know, he's a human and being and everything, but it doesn't seem like that translates over to you for Kanye. Like, because despite
they're two different people. Kanye is not doing what Eminem is doing. Mm-hmm. Not in his music and not in his. Some Kanye music is like that. Again, Kanye is amazing. Let me just pull it back a little bit. Kanye is amazing, but he's surrounded by amazing people. He's not the only one, but because he's a troll, because he's that clown jester guy, the media is just going to do what they do with Kanye. I'm sorry, I think Kanye got Asperger's or something. I really do. I think well, I'm not trying. My son has Asperger's, so I'm not. It's like I'm not trying to diss him.
Nah, yeah, I feel you.
That he's socially.
It's hard to express himself.
Yeah, so, I think he has some issues, and it makes him really amazing at music, but it also makes it so he doesn't know how to. This is what I do like about Kanye. Right, he's a loose cannon. So right when you think that he's one way, he's the other. You know, he's in an interview, and all of a sudden he's like, "And George Bush doesn't like black people," and I'm like, "Yeah." They can't really control him. Mm-hmm. I feel for him though. I feel for him because I feel that he is being manipulated. I feel that he's being used, and I hope he lives a long life because again, this industry is a killer. It's a real killer, and it's deep. It's real deep, and the stuff that goes on in it is deep. The oaths that get taken and the stuff that goes on in it, it's real deep. And I know he's got his hands full with that shit, and you can see it. And you can see it making him have a nervous breakdown and all of that. But Eminem is relatable to me because he don't flip flop all around. Eminem has always been Eminem. Kanye flip flops. He's religious one minute. He worships the devil another minute. Everybody forgets too much about Kanye. Every 5 minutes he do something and we just forget that he just did it. How much do this nigga gotta do? When he sat there with Trump and said Trump was like his daddy and Superman and all that dumbass shit he said with the MAGA hat and shit, that wasn't enough for you niggas? Mm-hmm. Whatever. You know what I mean? It's just my opinion, but I'm sorry. Yeah. His music is not good enough for me to just keep looking over that. I gotta like you too to kind of like your music. Eminem seems like his music. Kanye just, I don't know what his motif is. From day to day, it seems like anything he can do to shock you, even if it means pissing off everybody in the black race, except the people who dick ride him, He's willing to do it. He doesn't care how we feel. I don't like how he treated that person. I get what he was trying to say about slavery and stuff. He just didn't know how to say it. But then the black man came from the back and was trying to, the way he was treating him, I did not like one moment of that shit. I don't like that. He'll sell it. When he first went back in the day, early Kanye, he came here and he did a show. I didn't see it, but my good friend and his wife, they went to see it. And he had a concert and he asked everybody to stand up. And then there was a lady in the audience and she didn't stand up.
I remember this.
He
This
said,
is like
I'm not
2015.
going to start this show until this bitch stand up. Her leg was broke.
I remember
That's
that.
why she didn't stand up. But guess what? Even if her leg won't broke, who the fuck says that? When he had that breakdown and he started saying all that shit about Jay-Z and Beyonce, all those people paid their money to see him, yo. He don't care about them. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about his fans. He think his fans owe him. I don't like people like that. And
I will say,
I'm like, I'm talented. I'm not going to be all on your nuts like that because I can rhyme. I don't need to hear your rhymes.
I'll say it's hard being a Kanye fan for sure. Like there are a lot of times where I'm like, damn, I can't defend this shit. I'm gonna just close social media for a while. And it does feel like I watched this documentary, so I watched the 3 parts of it. And first off, the person who produced that shit, the person who filmed everything, shout out to him, Cootie, his name is. He been filming Kanye for like 20 something years, and it seemed like he put up with a lot of bullshit. Yeah, like he put up with a lot of bullshit, and he obviously didn't get the same level of fame. So you could see like they started off here together in Chicago, and then as Kanye got more and more like this and the gap grew, it felt like you could see the tension within the documentary. But so shout out to Cootie. But what I liked about Kanye, man, is just like what you said, you know, he didn't take no for an answer. He was like, yo, I'm gonna break into this industry no matter how many times they tell me no.
He had a vision.
He had a vision and he spoke it to life. He was like, yo, I'm going to do this. This is who I see myself as, and I'm not gonna stop till everybody else sees me like this. And it does seem like, like it's hard being a Kanye fan. There's a lot of shit where I'm like, damn, why the fuck did you do that? But it does feel like he still carries that mentality of like, yo, they didn't want to let me into the industry. I was an outsider. So now he looks for those people that he thinks are outsiders. But if he was just a little more informed, if he didn't have like just yes men around him, they could tell him like, yo, Donald Trump is not an outsider. Donald Trump is just as much establishment as anybody else, man. Like the things that you are idolizing about this guy are not real. So like if he just had people there, like, and I wonder maybe if he had his mom here, that would have been a big change for him. But like,
for sure,
I do feel for him.
His mother really spiraled him. It spiraled him kind of out of control. And again, that's why I feel for him. I've had 80 different emotions about Kanye West. I really, really have. And I've enjoyed his music, you know, like a lot of people. And I hear certain music and I'll be like, okay, what is this? And I'm like, okay, this is Kanye. This is dope. But something being dope is not enough for me. Because again, I'm surrounded by dope on the underground. Everyone I know is dope. I've heard some of the most amazing rhymes. I've heard some of the most amazing beats. I can't under exaggerate them. I'm not just saying that. Like, so I'm just not as amazed. And I guess it's just like anybody. If you are, you know, Dominique Dawes, you know, the famous gymnast, you're not going to be as impressed with Simone Biles as me, who's not a fucking gymnast.
Yeah.
You know, but you're going to be impressed because you understand what it took for her. You're like, wow, that's a difficult move, and she, you know, I know how difficult it is because I tried to do it. You know, But at the same time, you're like, okay, yeah, but some of this stuff, you guys are I call people civilians, like when they don't rhyme or they want to civilians. You know, I don't expect you to see Kanye the way I see him. You know what I mean? Because like I said, the glaze of being impressed by him is just not on me. You know, okay, you can rhyme and you can make beats. You know how many niggas I know that can do that shit and who do it? Like, why aren't you famous? Why aren't you? You know, it's just the industry just let Kanye in. That's another thing. The industry has only like 3 seats, and they let you be in the 1 seat, Kanye. You didn't just all the way bullyfoot your way in. There's a part of you, the industry likes you because because you are the way you are, and they feel like they can manipulate you and get you to say things against your people, and then or whatever it is, I don't know what's even going on with him sometimes. Yeah, and I feel for him. I think he's in a bad marriage, and I think that there's a lot of people around him trying to handle him. People have handlers. You know? Exactly. And I think he's being handled for sure.
Straight up. My man Persona asks, does it make Ice Cube less of an informed or cultured or correct person if he worked with Trump to get people out of prison? Let me just give a quick answer. So, because I remember this was like 2020, and I had covered this a little bit. What I liked about what Ice Cube did, Ice Cube had a straight up plan, right? He had a plan, and he was like, yo, this is I think it was like something 6 points or like something point plan.
The platform that he had written before.
The platinum plan, right?
I forgot what it was called, but yeah, it was like, it kind of reminded me of the Panthers. Panthers used to have the 10-point platform. You know, we want this, we want this, we want this. You know, basic just rights and stuff for people. So it reminded me of that. But it existed before Trump, and then his people. It's also not the way that that's worded. It wasn't quite like that. Like, like, hey Trump, come over here. I want your help. Like, let's do this. Like, I think Trump's people got wind of what Ice Cube had, and then they wanted to work with him, so he agreed to meet with Trump. And
I remember at the time covering this, he literally would have went to Biden or Trump, because it was during the election season. So I believe Biden's people were just like, yo, we'll get back to you after the election or whatever, whereas Trump's people were just like, all right, like, you know, they capitalized on it and whatever. They were like, yo, you know, at the end of the day, everybody's got an agenda. At the end of the day, everybody wants to get something. They got some type of ultimatum that they want to reach, and you know, whether it's you know, we want to actually genuinely help people get out of prison, or we just want to win this re-election, and we know that working with black people looks good right now.
That's what I was about to say. The Republicans effectively realize that, okay, we're not gonna this racist kind of model that we have, it's just not going to work going forward. We need to get some black Republicans out here. And then quiet as kept, a lot of black people actually have a lot of this, the average black person, that just regular black person, especially if you're a certain age, have a lot of the same political beliefs as Republicans do, not Democrats. It's just we're associated with that because for one, the parties used to be switched anyway.
Exactly.
The way that, they were switched, but and by that I mean like
the platform on what they ran on.
Just going to church and the conservative, a lot of Southern blacks have those same conservative values. So, but because the Republican Party always kind of align themselves against blacks openly, most blacks is like, I don't really care if I agree with what they just said or not. I'm going to, you know, I'm just going to be a Democrat.
I'm going to just vote Democrat.
Yeah, because I know that Republicans don't like black people. And it's just, you know, whatever. But they affected when Obama whipped their ass in all of these elections and all of that shit. They were like, look, we need to get somebody sexy up here. We need to get somebody younger up here. We need to get somebody, you know, if we can, to start representing our party. And then here come the blacks. Like, so now they have the Candace Owens and the people out here, you know, saying the things. So I don't know. It's a weird kind of dynamic that's going on there.
Because there is a lot of like conservative values. There's a lot of conservative values within what's it called? Not only the black community, like me knowing like the Latino community, there's a lot of Latinos and Latinas out there who are against abortion, who are very religious, who are very, very much like you see them on paper what they value, and it's like, damn, y'all should be voting Republican. And I think right now that's where you're seeing kind of like that shift a little bit, because Republicans are just like, wait a minute, so all we have to do is not openly hate you guys, and you guys will be with us.
And you guys will win elections for us. And it's been very effective. So Kanye, Steve Harvey, Ice Cube, and all these others, they play a role in that for sure. With the Republican Party, definitely, that's their agenda, you know, and it's working. You know, again, I'm into marketing and stuff, so when I know a brand strategy and a rollout. When I see one, I'm like, all right, I see y'all Republicans.
I see what y'all doing.
I'm like, hey, I see you. You know what I mean? It really, because the pro-blacks actually have a lot of values that align with Republicans too. A lot of the pro-black community, they don't want to see a lot of the kind of the rewriting of the gender conversation, and a lot of pro-blacks want to homeschool and do the different things because they don't like what's being taught in the schools and stuff like that. So again, I've actually heard a lot of the people that I would think would be really, really anti-Republican saying a lot of the same things that Republicans say. So it's an interesting thing. But I'm glad you asked me about Kanye. I actually have a rhyme in here if I can find it. It's about Kanye. I kind of dissed him in it.
Did you? Oh no, we need to definitely hear that. When you look for it, I'm gonna just read this comment while you look. Persona says, my biggest concern genuinely is that we are telling our own people what they should and shouldn't think, believe, etc., instead of letting us bloom and flourish outside of what Biden or Hillary, etc., want us to think, for example. And not to mention, it makes me nauseous when white people want to tell me, a Hispanic person, how I should feel about politics or social issues. Like, that is counterintuitive, and honestly, fuck you. Yeah, so this is where it gets this is where you see the shift, right? Because into a lot of people, they look at Democrats and they're like, yo, these motherfuckers are just trying to tell me what to do, and they're not offering me anything, and they're just saying that I should just line up and vote for them every 2-4 years, and they're not offering me shit. They just assume that I'm gonna just vote for them. And
I mean, and Biden said it. Like, if you black, if you ain't black, if you ain't voting
yeah,
Democrat,
if you don't, that was the worst shit, yo. That was honestly horrible. I remember his intern in the background was like, okay, Charlemagne, we gotta get off, And Persona, yeah, that shit is true. Like, but you know what I think? I honestly think that it's just one of those situations where it's like, you're just seeing the loudest people on social media, the loudest white people that are college educated going on social media, and those are the type of people that you're thinking of right now, you're thinking about, like, they're trying to tell me how I should feel about these things. But I think that there are a lot of Democrats out there who are straight up just like, yo, I care about freedom, so that's why you see them being pro legalization. Whether you agree with abortion or not, it's just like, yo, let that option be there for
people that want that option.
Exactly.
Right.
And I talk to this because my family is Latino, and a lot of them are always against abortion, and they're like, how could you agree with this? I'm like, yo, I'm not pro-abortion. I'm telling you, I'm pro-choice, the pro of the option being there. I don't think that it's a good thing for somebody to go in there. I agree. Exactly.
Some people, we were just talking about this. My husband, I guess he's older, and his mother was older when she had him, so he has an older mother, and she's a real sophisticated kind of like city girl, but she come from the country, and she just telling us how it used to be, and all those backwoods abortions, those back alley abortions that people would have, because just the society, speaking of being conservative, like I said, the average black, especially back in the day, was very conservative. So and we didn't want our people out here looking all crazy and sloppy and stuff. Like, we want our people to represent properly out here, and be a good Christian and a good citizen, blah blah blah. So you didn't have no baby, and you 16 years old, but meanwhile granddaddy done gave you that baby, or the preacher at the church, or whatever. So you definitely not about to be out here. So you either had two choices. You would either say, oh, this is my adopted. You would say that your daughter would kind of disappear for a few months, and then next thing you know, our cousin has moved in with us. This is their baby. We taking care of their baby. No, that's daughter's baby. Yeah. But that be daughter's baby by daddy. Daddy doesn't put that baby in the daughter, or whatever. So there's a lot of that crazy shit going on. You need to have an abortion, or you need to have the choice to have an abortion if somebody done raped you, or if somebody is putting, or if you some people are diabetic, or they have bone diseases, or whatever it is that would just really tax them to have a baby, or whatever personal reasons they have. And so I'm the same way. I don't think we should be willy-nilly about abortion. I think if there's any chance that you can keep a child, you should. But yeah, if somebody raped me, I don't know if I want that baby.
And then my biggest thing is that whenever somebody like argues like very against abortion, I'm like, all right, so what other options do you want out there? Like, do you agree with like, increasing childcare, right? Like childcare options? Because once they have this baby, everybody who's like against abortion shuts the fuck up and never talks again. Once the baby is actually born, they don't actually care about the baby being raised. And it's like, yo, you only advocated for this, and now you don't give a fuck about the mother who's stuck with the baby. Right. So it's never like, yo, I'm against abortion, and I agree, and I think that we should increase like, the availability of daycares, or for mothers to be at home and to raise their kids. Like, they never talk about none of that. It's just like they just want the baby born, and then period.
The most they'll say is that they'll be like, well, look, just have the baby, and then let someone adopt the baby. But again, I mean, I don't know. It's just at this point, I don't know. We're past that. At this point, we're past that. Yeah,
exactly.
This is a crazy world, and there's a lot of people who I think qualify for. It seems like to me that abortion might be the best option, in their circumstance. Some people are just dirt poor. Yeah. They're dirt poor, and they don't want to
bring another life into
or whatever it is. Or some people are in an abusive house, and they get pregnant or whatever, and they don't want to bring their child into that, or whatever it is. Oh my God. Yeah, for real. Flazzy, thank you so much for all the gifts, man. You didn't have to do that. You a go. Thank you so much. This is an IRL friend. I love him. He's a great ass person, great ass vibe. Thank you so much. I don't have the alerts turned on right now, but you a go. Thank you so much. I actually do want to talk to you about because I've had this conversation with Persona, and he's kind of touching on it in the chat. The conversation about representation, right? So like nowadays, there's like a big emphasis on like, we need to get these certain groups that in the past
were marginalized or were let out of these opportunities, and we need to put them to the front of the row. So like, I think an example he said before was, Biden's looking for the first black Supreme Court justice, and like he specifically is like, it's got to be a black woman because we never had this in the past or whatever.
That's what affirmative action pretty much was, like
exactly
kind of idea.
That idea, yeah. Let's give them now, move them to the front of the line because they've been in the back of the line for so goddamn long. What do you think about that? Or another example that we had talked about a long time ago was what's it called? Let's say you tomorrow get hit up and they write this article and they're like, you are the first black streamer to reach blah 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 milestone. Would you be happy with that, or would you rather it just be like, wait until you are just the first streamer, right? Like not the first black streamer, you are the first streamer of that accomplishment.
Okay, for one, great show, bro. I'll make sure I come back. Good shit. Good question and good shit. Mm-hmm. I had one answer until you said the last part. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Let me think about this. Mm-hmm. Here's my example, and maybe this will answer the question. Sometimes when I'm in raids, a person will say, thanks to all the DJs and she-Js. The DJs and she-Js. Uh-huh. Well, why are you putting she like that? Mm-hmm. The D don't stand for dick. It stands for disc jockey. So a female, it's not gender and sex specific. It's anyone can jockey a disc, right? So why say she-Js then? Same with MC. An MC is a master or mistress of ceremonies, or really, it's just a master. It doesn't have to be mistress, because master is not a masculine or feminine word either. So the fact that we even look at those type of words as just automatically being men, so now it's a femc. Mm-hmm. So I never really, but I don't get mad at people because I know they don't mean anything by it. They're just trying to honor me. I would take the honor and I would roll with it. You know what I mean? Because it's publicity for me. Like I said earlier, I don't gotta like everything about everything to get along with folks. It's all good. I don't need you to, if you're trying to put shine on me, put shine on me. If it was because of affirmative action type shit, whatever. I'm still trying to come up. So however I can stumble into the room, I'll take it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there is a part of me that in my mind I'm thinking, like, I got a lot of guy friends, and they'll say, and female friends, and they'll say, you're my favorite female MC, when really I can rhyme better than a lot of dudes. Mm-hmm. So then I have friends that are like, you're my favorite MC, period, and they'll make sure that I understand that. Mm-hmm. So I would rather it be that way. But if you want to say that I'm your favorite, I get it. There's not as many women. It's a man's sport. Hip hop is more of a man's thing, and when you know the history of it, you see why it came from gangs and all the stuff it came from. So it's a machismo. We don't have nothing, so we gotta overcompensate by bragging in these rhymes and feel better about ourselves because we come from rubble, we come from poverty, we come from tore down ass, on fire ass Bronx right now, and so we're gonna glorify the machismo of it all and stuff like that. But at the same time, so it's just like Eminem. Eminem is just actually one of the most lyrical people on earth, white or black. Yeah. But Eminem is gonna stand out more, and he knows this. He's white, so there's not that many white people in hip hop. Hip hop wasn't started by white people, so if a white person comes and do it, it's like if all the dolphins are gray and then here comes the pink dolphin, everybody gonna be like, yo, it's a fucking pink dolphin. And not only that, the pink dolphin can swim just as good or better than the gray dolphin. That's just what people are gonna do. That's just numbers. That's like human nature and any nature. Whatever stands out, you're gonna put more emphasis on it. You know what I mean? Especially if the thing that stands out is known for the opposite. White people are not known for having soul and rhyming with flavor and all the shit like Eminem do. So it is what it is. So I'm sure sometimes he gets tired of being put in just I'm the white, knowing that he can rap better than a lot of niggas can. I'm sure he gets tired of being put in that category, but at the same time, it benefits him. So he rides with it. Same with me. So I feel that way. Back to the question about, the first black or the first whatever. We were talking about this just last night. We're talking about Black History Month and how a lot of the accomplishments of blacks are only in respect to white society. In other words, this is the first black senator. This is the first black mayor. This is the first. I'm only the first black mayor because y'all finally just opened the door and let us be regular people. Like it's. I'm not the first black mayor because I'm the first black person who was qualified to be the first black mayor. There's been plenty of people who could have been the first black mayor. It's just that you finally decided to acknowledge me as having mayor potential or whatever it is. So it's like the accomplishments, a lot of them are still only in respect to what white people have allowed us to do in society. So there is a part of me that, there's a part of me that kind of doesn't like you're the first black whatever. And then because I went to art college, even though it was in Baltimore, like the blackest city on earth, most art colleges are more predominantly white and stuff like that. So like MICA, Maryland Institute College of Art, was no exception. And I went there, and it was in this part, like historic part of Baltimore called Bolton Hill, real nice neighborhood. But to the left and to the right and all around it is the project, the hardcore Baltimore. And I was the only white, I was the only black in a lot of my classes. Same when I went to governor's school. This is pretty much a black area, black city. I mean, there's all races here, a lot of Filipinos and whites too, but mainly blacks, especially in Norfolk and stuff like that. But in governor's school, I was one of the only black people in a lot of my classes. So I know what it feels like to be the only black or the one black or, whatever it is. And it's an interesting feeling. And,
For sure.
So having to kind of represent, knowing that, okay, because I'm one of the only ones in this room or whatever it is, and this is a little bit of a different take on what we're saying, but, I have to kind of almost, can I even be myself? Because I know that I'm representing all of blacks to you people, or to these people in the room, I'm representing all of blacks. Mm-hmm. And then if I do something good, I've been told by more than one white person, because I'm very open-minded and I always listen to all kind of music and shit like that, you're different. You're different. Like, I'm different than other blacks. Mm-hmm. And I remember the first time I was told that, and I can't explain that feeling, but I did not like it. And I was like in middle school or whatever. You're different than them. I'm like, what do you mean? Why am I different? Mm-hmm. I'm not fucking different. Don't do that. Don't make me the exception to blacks.
That feels like you're so well spoken type of thing.
That's exactly what it is. You're so articulate. You're so mannerable.
It's like passive aggression.
Yeah, don't compliment me like that. That's like a jab for real. Don't do that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because what they're saying by that is that the default to them is like a thug or like somebody who's not educated. That's the default to them.
I like that.
So then you are like what stand out to them and what is not their default.
Exceptional nigger.
Exactly. And it's like, what the fuck? That shit is so fucked up. That it really is. And like, I don't know, like. Persona said, I did want to bring something up that he said earlier about, I got a friend who got into a super difficult university and she got told it's probably to fill the quota. It fucking killed her, man. She works her ass off. And like that shit is crazy, because like you'll see these type of policies where they're like, they try to mean good, they try to benefit a certain community, but at the same time, like there's shit like that they can't even account for, where it's like, there's going to be people out there who want to just get in based off purely their merit. But I also do think that they are getting in because of their merit. It's just that what you said earlier, it's just that in the past, they just didn't open up the door to these communities. So that's why you didn't see these type of people. But yo, thank you so much for the raid, Fireflies. Thank you. Welcome. We having a good ass conversation. Like I said at the beginning, I got like 100 questions written down, and we have not even begun to ask Blak Gurl Gamr about any of her content creation. We just talking pure bars right now. We just talking pure culture bars. Thank you so much, Fireflies. Give a shout out, everybody. Go check out Fireflies. Dope ass streamer. Hey, welcome in, everybody. It is a balancing act. That's what it comes down to. They mean good, but then they make it harder for people. It's a difficult thing, and then it's a little bit of I wanted to ask you about cultural appropriation, because I heard you talking about this earlier today, and I thought you and your husband had a good take on it and everything, because I remember they was trying to hit Bruno Mars with cultural appropriation, right? They were trying to say that he appropriates these cultures and that he's like purposely ambiguous about like his ethnicity. That way he can use black music. But it's like he came out in an interview and he was like, yo, I don't know how many times I got to come up here and tell you I'm inspired by James Brown. I'm inspired by these people. I'm inspired by this people. Like, I'm giving the credit out here.
Right.
Yo, and if your husband wants to come on, by the way, he's more than welcome.
He said if you want to chime in, you can.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. But so what do you think about cultural appropriation? Because and specifically, I think more recently they've been talking about black sense. I don't know if you've heard this conversation about. There's like this one Asian actress. I forget. Awkwafina. She like in the Marvel movies or whatever. She grew up in Queens, New York. Okay. And she talks, I don't know, I guess with a black accent is what they call it. and
A
people
black
get
sin, hey.
a black sin, yeah, but people get real mad at that, and they say that she's appropriating this culture.
Was she raised around? If she was raised around people, and if she's not pretending, and she was raised around people, because I know plenty of whites that talk like that, and I know plenty of black people that are like, "Hey, you guys, welcome in."
The Carlton Steve Urkel type.
That's the way they were raised. It is what it is. If you're not pretending, it's not cultural appropriation. If you were raised, if everybody, especially if you're from New York, if you're from fucking New York and you're a certain age, and you are like an urban normal New Yorker, you gonna be like, yo, what up, fam?
Yeah.
That's just how you gonna fucking talk. Like that's how they all talk. I mean, the whites and white people that don't even like niggas talk like that. So,
that's what it is. I feel like people, when they think of New York, they think of like the, hey, what are you doing over there? Like the Italian accent. It's like, yo, that's not how people talk. More likely than not, they're saying dead ass, like, yo, dead ass, my whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they're just talking like that.
That's another thing. The world, if we want to be all tight about it, the world is appropriating black culture. It's not it's again. It's
I like what Persona just said. Cultural appreciation over cultural appropriation,
and that's all it is. If you give homage, let me give y'all an example. Okay, so the song "In the Jungle," "The Lion Sleeps Tonight," that comes from a song called Mbube. And they're not saying Owimawe. They're saying Mbube. That's what they're saying. Not the song we know. The song we know is by whites, and they're saying Owimawe. But so what happened was there was this song in Africa, right? This big song, and it's something haunting about that melody. I mean, y'all know the song, so y'all kind of know that it is like that, especially the. So that's the part that. So there was this white man. So I guess somehow he ended up in South Africa. He's a musician. He loved this song. He brought it back to America. He became really, really famous around it. But he insisted that everyone understood that this is a South African song. It's a South African song. I love it. I'm bringing it to you guys, but I'm not the creator of it. So he wasn't racist about it. It just really, it touched him. I have no problem with that. If you're going to give the credit, because it's the same way. Martial arts or whatever, I wouldn't want to not ever be able to learn Aikido or Jiu-Jitsu or some shit because I'm not Japanese or because I'm not Chinese or whatever it is. The art form doesn't, the art itself, musical notes themselves, words themselves, we don't own any of that. I don't own the words. The way we slinging them together might have came from a place, but once some shit spreads around, you can't control. It's just like hip hop. We can't, once it left New York, we can't control it anymore and say we can steer it a little, but especially once we let the music industry get in there, we can't stop everyone who hears hip hop now from eventually being like, yo, what up, yo? Or, what up, fam? Or what? That's the reason why a lot of white people want to say nigga so bad, because that music that they've been listening to is influencing them so much. They just want to be able to live it and be it like we are, or whatever it is. So cultural appropriation versus, again, the Rolling Stones. Elvis was culturally appropriating.
Yeah.
He was stealing our shit. He brought it to white folks. White people act like niggas had never done that ever. A lot of white people did not like Elvis at first. They said that he moved his hips like a nigga, that he gyrated his hips like a nigga too much, and he gyrate too much. And they felt like it was too sexual and all that shit. They didn't like it. They thought it was. They didn't like that he was appropriating black culture. They wanted him to be boring and be soulless and whatever. But it's just like, well, y'all like rock and roll, don't you? So Elvis like, well, I better appropriate it. If you like rock and roll, I gotta appropriate. I gotta take it from these blacks. But here's the part where, how about you just give us some credit and give us the money that you're making from remaking literally my Otis Redding song or whatever it is. That's all. You give people the credit. You give people their just due. I will say this about the Rolling Stones, because I really don't like them. But I will say this, and the reason why I don't like them is every time there's a documentary about any black music, they turn up in it. They turn up at the end, taking the music every single time. And the black person that made it died broke and alone, and the Rolling Stones live on, decrepit and ugly, singing our songs till they turn 147 years old. And it's annoying. But they did do this. They did go back and like Muddy Waters. You can watch the movie Cadillac Records. It's definitely about cultural appropriation and stuff like that. They went and got Muddy Waters, in his older age, and brought him on tour with them and stuff like that, and made sure he didn't just die this unappreciated guy. And that's cute, but there's clearly, when you have you're saying someone's slang and everything, and then you want to turn around and then diss the very people. Yeah, I gotta call you on it. But
yeah.
For one, let me tell you another thing too. To me and my husband, Spanish people is black people.
So, well, this I was gonna bring this up next. So like,
yeah, Spanish people is some niggas to me. You look just like my cousin. You look just like him. You know, for one, if you know the history anyway, you know that y'all were dark and black, and then here comes colonial whites. That's the reason why most Spanish people are Catholics and shit like that, because the conquerors were
Columbus ass, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. There's a bunch of Portuguese and motherfuckers come over and turned, you know, so they were native people or whatever. And then just like in our race, there's a lot of division among Hispanics about, okay, I'm light skinned, I'm dark
colorism,
skinned, you know, colorism all day, and it's bad. So and that make y'all black right there. Y'all mad at each other because somebody light and somebody dark. That's some nigga shit. We do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. But because there's ethnicity, and then there's nationality. See, there's your this, and then there's where you come from. So a Puerto Rican can be black, white, or Hispanic. Mm-hmm. You could be a Puerto Rican and not. They be like, no, he not black, he Puerto Rican. Well, Puerto Rico's a fucking place.
That's that's a country, goddammit.
Like Canelo. Canelo is a Mexican ginger white man who don't speak a lick of English. You know, so people like, well, he not white, he Mexican. I'm like, he's a white Mexican.
He's a white
stupid
Mexican. So this is my next question, because I all my life I thought the same goddamn thing. I just, for whatever reason, I had it in my head like, okay, Latinos are allowed to say the N-word with the A at the end. Obviously, nobody says it with the ER. That's just crossing lines, and nobody, right? But I thought, okay, Fat Joe is saying it in his songs, and he looked like me. He got the same skin tone as me, so I always, I always thought, okay, you know what? It's just like, for whatever reason, we just had the pass. We was good with it. And so in a lot of my music, I used to say it. And then one day, all of a sudden, it was just like, no, now there's a difference. There's Afro Latinos. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck is that? And then they started dividing it into now, you are a white Latino or you're a Afro Latino. And that's where like that colorism kind of, like, it was always in play. Especially like, I know like my old school family, like, a lot of them did not like to be called like, yo, we're not black. Like, and I would look at them, I was like, y'all are dark as fuck. Y'all are definitely black. Like,
you know how many Latinos I know that are darker than me?
Yeah, and they don't like it for whatever reason. But I think that's a lot of just society.
It's white supremacy.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're watching TV. We're speaking English. Everything, all the black words is everything black is bad. Everything black is bad. You know, I mean, even and then white is good. I always use this example. But even if you watch fucking Dragon Ball Z, you know, when it's time to become a Super Saiyan, what they look like? A blonde, blue-eyed motherfucker.
Yeah, like a German motherfucker.
You know what I mean? Like a German, right? When you say like, yeah, the X-Star Command. When you start looking at even, you know, Naruto, you know, whatever, which I love. You know, again, the kind of negative characters are the Uchiha, the dark, black-haired motherfuckers, you know, and the Senju clan and all of them, and the Uzumakis and them, they the red-haired, blonde-haired, blue-eyed motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And then and Japanese people don't look like that at all. So you can see that their white supremacy is on them. They get eyelid surgery and all that shit over there in Asia. The same way in Jamaica, people want to, you know, bleach their skin. Or here, you know, with us, with all these perms and the things that we do. It affected the whole world. So white supremacy spread over the whole world.
Facts, sure. Big facts, straight up.
Yeah. Yo, so that's the reason.
Welcome everybody. I get it too. Welcome everybody who's new in here. Welcome to everybody. I see a lot of new people up in here. Welcome Young CEO, Endgame Vibes. Welcome. We having good ass conversations. Sengi Strike. Sammy Sosa sucks. He did that. Yo, yeah, that shit sucks when you like want to distance yourself because of what you think that like society just thinks is like the right thing to like. That shit is fucked up. And Persona dropped a quote in here. Comedian Rashid said it best when imitating a poppy in the deli. I'm not black this, touch his skin, I'm black inside. And like, yo, I for whatever reason, I don't know how I feel like that, because I talk to like a lot of my family members who are older. I'm like, yo, you ever heard this term Afro Latino? And they're like, that sounds racist to me. I'm like, well, the people that are like talking about it, they say it's racist not to do it. And it's like, but they're like, but that's like dividing us, right? Because like I got an uncle who's Mexican. He's like, yo, nobody in Mexico calls themselves an Afro-Mexican, right? Like, because
these are people, I'm glad you said that. These are people calling, and this is what it's like to be black. People call you the thing. You don't say what you are. people call you, so people call us coloreds and Negroes and whatever, but because we have lost our complete identity, we just accept, like they said, you know, when you don't know who you are, you know, and you don't know your roots, I mean, you can easily be dyed any color, you know, because it's just, you don't have any foundation, so you just swaying in the wind. So that's what we are. Most of us don't even know our family past 2 or 3 generations. We don't know our great grandmother. Like I literally cannot tell you the name of my great grandma. I don't know my great grandmother's name. You know, I would have to go and do like big research to find this shit out. You know what I mean, or whatever. God forbid I try to go back, you know, 100 years or whatever. So now we gotta rely on ancestry.com to be accurate and shit like that. And I don't trust that shit. I don't be knowing what to think about that shit. But anyway, that being said, people outside of people trying to politicize and be politically correct, what we got to realize is white people are the ones who kind of, I'm not saying that we don't all have to be politically correct. Like you do have to respect, I guess, just like with you, like you're like, okay, I always said the N-word and shit until I realized that maybe I shouldn't just freely say that shit because it might offend, you know. So that's just you being aware of the fact that you live in a world with other people, and maybe the things that you think are okay might not be okay to that group or whatever, and that's you having respect for that. And I like that. I don't care if you say it, but the fact that you're even considering maybe people don't want me to say that or whatever, that is enough respect for me. That's enough for me. Because it's a cultural thing too. All black people don't say nigga either. It depends on what I come from, hip hop and shit, like where that's how we fucking talk, you know what I mean, or whatever. But white people are the ones who have roasted everyone and called people faggots and you dumb dame and you dumb broad and all that shit. So now they can't say none of that shit no more. But because we don't really have our own identity, a lot of our identity is just associated with whatever white people say our identity is from decade to decade. We are like, oh yeah, I shouldn't say this either, or I now I should say this too, or whatever. And it's just like, let us determine what we should call ourselves, and let us tell the world what we want to call ourselves. The problem is we don't agree on it. We're so divided as a people, we don't agree. So I can't really enforce that on anyone else because I got to get our own people to agree on one thing first, and we don't agree on anything.
Well,
literally. So.
Well, also, like, everybody got to remember, like, no community is a monolith. So you're not going to just find, not every black person is going to think the same. And not every Latino is going to think the same. Nobody out there is the same. And nobody is a monolith, and especially communities. And I like what Young CEO said. Social media is the biggest way that they got us thinking that the way they want because of the algorithm. So that's what I was saying a little bit earlier. You see these loud voices out there, right? It's like the what is it, the fucking squeaky wheel gets the oil or whatever. It's like that loud presence in the room. So like all of a sudden on social media you got all these people being like, nah, this is the way that we have to address this community now, when it's like, yo, this is not even coming often from within the community. It's coming from people looking from the outside in, being like, oh shit, like, you know, for years like my ancestors fucked up. And it's like guilt. There's like a part of it where it's guilt. Like there's white guilt where it's like, man, I can't believe like my great grandparents were fucking racist and shit. Like now I gotta do all this, and it's like
hustle double time to try to do. And I feel for them on that. You know, I feel for them on that because a lot of them, they just want to enjoy. They don't have those hangups of the past. They just want to be able to enjoy blacks and enjoy having a black friend or a black wife or listening to the black music or whatever it is. So it's a good time. It's good. These are good conversations. These are conversations we definitely couldn't have before. And these are all good things. I'm in my chat and I have everyone in my chat. I have all genders, all races, all kinds of people, all kinds of religions and stuff like that. And it's just because I'm honest and I'm candid and I'm accepting of whatever, as long as I'm not being disrespected. However you feel is fine with me. And I learned that from art school. You know, there were total people from the Church of Satan, like at art school. Like some of I'm not my best friends, but they were some of the coolest people because it's just, they're people. You know, it is what it is. Like, who's to say that what you believe is right and what they believe is wrong, or whatever it is. So it's just one of those things. But I'm glad though that whites at least are like, well, look, we can't just go around just calling people shit and putting people in these fucking stereotype ass boxes and shit and telling people that you're not a human if you don't, you know, and then meanwhile, see, this is my problem with it. If you don't like me, great. You don't like niggas, great. Then I don't want to hear you say, yo, what up my G, what up fam.
Yeah,
I don't want to
all that language, all
that shit. I don't want to hear you say it. I don't want, put that rock and roll. Since you don't like niggas, put that rock and roll down, fam. Put all that shit, all that house, all that people, all that shit you like, stop it. Let's stop then. Don't eat no more tacos. You don't like Hispanics. Stop eating burritos and shit. Don't go to Taco Bell. Don't go to. I need you to really not like us.
Yeah, not like any of the.
Yeah, you're enjoying all the spices and the flavors of the Caribbean and the fucking taco, but then you don't like Mexicans. But Taco Tuesday, bitch.
Yeah, but taco. That's what it is. Well, that's where it gets real bad, because it's like they don't love the community. They don't feel for any of the problems that the communities go through, but they love what the community produces. And oftentimes it's like the community's producing this because of the oppression that they've been through, or like just like not being led into like certain industries where they gotta make their own industry. They gotta make their own cuisine. They gotta make their own art. They gotta make their own music. That shit is straight up. Yo, Young CEO, you missed the whole Kanye talk. I saw you talking Kanye up there, and I was like, damn, this dude like an hour late. We had the Kanye conversation already. Go back to the vibe. We had a good ass convo on Kanye, for real.
I got the rhyme right here. You want me to read it?
Yeah, read that rhyme, please.
All right, so y'all, I'm rusty. I'm about to read off this paper. I used to know this rhyme by heart or whatever.
Wait. Can you give me actually 1 second? 1 second. Let me.
Yeah, I can.
Hold on. Let me put you on
the big joint.
Yeah, here we go. Okay.
I use a rhyme book.
Here we go. Okay.
So
make some noise.
It's a short rhyme. It was designed to fit in a 60-second slot. We used to be on the radio, and we would do this 60-second like Freestyle Friday thing with DJ B, whatever. So this is from that or whatever. And it's kind of aimed at Kanye. When I say I love you, it's real talk, not spitting off the dome. I likes to cook my love until it's falling off the bone. Once the initial love is shown, you're never truly all alone. You can't expect me to just sit back and watch the throne. People find you deep, and my mind is actually blown, because I think your mind is slow and you need a chaperone. Sometimes I think they done replaced you with some kind of clone or android drone fronting with a heart of stone. I'm disappointed in your performance. I don't like your tone. A whiny brat with diapers on trying to act like you grown. You're irresponsible with tantrums like a 5-year-old. Smack you with some isotoners, then snatch your microphone. It takes a village to raise a child to the metronome. We all singing the same song, but you got a megaphone. Cocking your nose up in the air as if you smell cologne. You talking cold to your elders, I just can't condone. Too much testosterone, but not enough testosterone. I don't need a microscope to see you just some type of troll. Got no time for the games and drama, cause Lord knows. I don't think I'm saying it right. No time for the games and the drama, cause Lord knows. You're not allowed in Wakanda, the border's closed. So it's pretty short, you know what I mean? But
I love that shit.
On the beat, though, it was hitting. I forgot what beat we put it on, but on the beat, it was hitting.
I love that shit, and I love the one comment I saw from Persona. I disagree with this, but it's fire. And that's the type of energy we need, where it's like, yo, look, I might like this person, and we might disagree on our feelings towards them, but I ain't gonna lie, the art is there. It's like nobody gonna disagree. The art is fire. That was amazing, and everybody in the chat right now giving you big props. They giving you fire for sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Thank you. So I'll read some more as we go. I'll pick like 2 or 3 more rounds.
Yes, please.
Pepper them through. You know what I mean? But yeah, you guys. What were we even talking about?
Give yourself an introduction, because there's a lot of new people up in here, and they definitely. I would love for them to know who you are.
Okay. Beautiful, intelligent black man. Talk your shit. You trying to make me blush or what? Thank you.
Yo, and I like in there. I could sense that Emcee spirit in you when you like smack you with the isotones and take the microphone. I was like, yo,
I talk shit. I like
that's how it is right there. Yeah, that's like on some battle shit. That's on that old school like beef and battle, but then walk away with respect at the end of it.
That's the era I'm from. That's what I meant earlier when I was saying that, like, oh, the hip hop used to be positive. I didn't mean that nobody talks shit. Yeah. It wasn't like, hey everybody, I love you too. If people talk shit the whole time hip hop has been out. It's a braggadocious, grab your balls type of thing. So I need that. I don't like when shit is too vanilla. I don't like when shit is too cute. I like for it to be hard. That's why I like Wu. That's why I like I like Wu and all Wu affiliate, everything. I like Killer Priest and all that shit. I like raw dungeon fucking. I like music that sound like somebody about to get killed. Like dirty. You know what I mean?
Hey,
that's me. You know what I mean?
Hey,
as I love R&B and all that shit, but I like a nice, grimy, fucking hard ass rhyme too.
Persona, she from Virginia.
So yeah, I'm from Virginia, you guys. I'm Novakane Omega, aka Blak Gurl Gamr. Most people know me as Novakane Omega. I got my name because when I was younger, I was looking, speaking of lethal, I was looking for like a a lethal type rhyme name, you know. So I used to call myself like the innkeeper and the gatekeeper and the fucking whatever I was calling myself. And then Novakane came up, and I was like, I kind of like that. But other people, I was like, other people are bound to be named this, so I'm gonna slap Omega on the back. So it stuck. And 20 something years later, here I am, Novakane Omega. But then I wanted to come on Twitch and game and kind of brand myself away from being Novakane Omega in a way. So that way, and because I'm people tell me I'm funny or whatever it is, and I am a gamer and stuff like that. So I would kind of be playing games and commenting on it. I'm like, I think I could build a community around this. But music calls me, so I can't. I got up here.
It's in your soul.
So I've been teaching the whole time, whether I was gaming or making music. But I started kind of DJing a little bit, and then one thing led to another, and you know, you can't. It's a lot harder to get a hype train and stuff like that going when you're gaming. But if you DJing and dealing them vibes out, people are just, you know. So I kind of use that to lead with, and I just game here, there. But I've been rhyming since I was 15, y'all. Just like 20 something years. Been an artist all my life. If you ever, I don't know how Discord is or whatever, but if you guys want to see any of my art, I can either get some, but I also have some of it posted in my Discord, so you can just see it that way if you want. And that's that. I mean, that's me in a nutshell. I don't know. I'm a cool person. I don't know. I don't really
Hell yeah, no, you got more than that. You sent me things like you co-founder of Soul Trust Records, right? Up in here. You said creator of Each Nine Teach Nine. Like, talk a little bit about those things.
So Each Nine Teach Nine, y'all have gotten to see me do plenty of Each Nine Teach Nine. Like, that's what you got on my radar, because you were coming into my. So I do tutorials. I teach. I've always been, you know, for lack of a better word, pro-Black or conscious. But I kind of in later days, I've gotten a little bit kind of perturbed with our community, the conscious community, because I feel like if we're so conscious, we need to be further along than we are as people. And there's a lot of us who talk a lot of shit, and we're not really about it. So instead of me being mad and just complaining about that, I decided, like, instead of me just like breaking down what whites did to blacks and doing all that shit all the time, let me try to like just bring some remedies. Like, let me not focus so much on what's wrong and focus on what we can do. I think we've been talking about what's wrong I cringe sometimes when I hear, let's say, a Malcolm X speech or whatever from the 60s, and here it is, you know, what is it, 60 years later? Yeah. You know what I mean? And we have the same exact almost problems that we had in the 60s. You can pull one of his speeches and just put it right down in the middle of our struggle. And that makes me sad, because I spent a lot of my life studying 5% Nation, studying Islam, studying, you know, whatever it is, or any movement that was for our people. I've studied in it. I've even been in them, and we are running in place in a lot of ways. And that, you know, and it embarrasses me. But instead of me feeling like I'm just whining, it's like, no, what can I do about it? I'm a member of this community. It's my job. If I don't like it's kind of like what Mos Def said about hip hop being dead or whatever. He's like, well, you can't, you know, are you dead? You say you hip hop. Are you dead? How can hip hop be dead? He's like, y'all talk like it's some giant that lives up in the hills. You're hip hop. So however you feel, that's how hip hop feels. So I feel the same way about the state of our people. You know, if I want to see an improvement, I got to be that improvement. So Each Nine Teach Nine is a result of that. It's me deciding that instead of me just complaining about what I don't like, let me just be the change that I want to see. The man in the mirror technique, if you will, Michael Jackson. You know, you got to start with you. And so Each Nine Teach Nine, that's why it's called Each Nine Teach Nine, because I want to inspire people to do what I'm doing. You know, get out here. All of us are amazing. That's why another reason why I don't sling that word genius around like that. I know too many people that can do a lot of shit. And they're just... People love me for one thing, just to find out I'm really, really good at something else. I'm not the only one like that. There's plenty of people like that. You know them, you like them because you think they're funny. Like Farrakhan. People like Farrakhan for his mind and things he said, or they dislike him or whatever it is. For the things he says, he's known for that. But this man is a top-notch violin player. You feel what I mean? And he could have easily just done that. He's a calypso artist. You know, he could have easily just done that. He's so good at playing the violin. He could have easily just done that. My point is, I want people who are you good at playing the violin, teach it. Like get up here and let everyone know, hey, you guys, you know, are you struggling with da 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 da? Yep. I know this thing and I can help you with that. So Each Nine Teach Nine is founded off the spirit of inspiring people to not just each one teach one, but let's really get together and all swap facts. Like how this chat is. You know, everybody's contributing with, you know, their take on things and stuff like that. So yeah. That's Teach Nine. That started on Facebook, and I just brought it over here to Twitch, and it's really growing. It's actually becoming one of my better shows, even more than my DJing, actually.
Wow.
I'm starting to get rated and getting hype trains and people cheering me. Like the past 3 or 4 ones I've done, they really, really were populated, like more than my normal streams and stuff. So
you think it's just because people have that urge to just want to learn and be in a community around people that are just sharing knowledge and skills?
It's that for sure. People want to know. We live in a time where I always say this, like it's like the Book of Eli. If you've ever seen the movie The Book of Eli, it stars Denzel Washington, and basically the analogy is he's from a time where he remembers the Bible. He remembers religion.
Yep.
The other older people who are still alive in this society, they remember it too. But all the young people, because there's been some kind of
like apocalypse.
Apocalypse. They don't know anything about this stuff. And so the villain knows that the Bible is a weapon that can be used to hurt and control everyone. The protagonist, Denzel, knows that this same book can be used to heal and uplift people. But not if this information doesn't carry forth into the future, then nobody can't use it. So it's the same way. I feel like one reason why people are taking to the information that I'm putting out is just that we live in a day and age where everyone is just very childish, decadent. And by that I mean, I'm not trying to diss anyone. It's just that when I was growing up, there was a clear distinction between an adult and a child. We did child things and adults did adult things. And we now the average adult is very we're competing with people who are 19. Like we're on Instagram taking selfies like a 19-year-old would be up there taking selfies. We're watching. I never thought I would see the day when like Martha Stewart or Fats's mother, who is 80, knows. She knows, like my mother knows certain like rappers, and I'm not saying she shouldn't. I'm just saying that the gap between the age groups is really there isn't really one. Like most children, they're 8 years old and they kind of you be like, if you say a certain joke, that's what she said or whatever, they laughing too because they kind of get the joke. They shouldn't, but they do. So there's not really a real divide between the adults. Don't try to hide anything from the children in a way that's wrong. Like I'm not saying you shouldn't tell children that they're Santa Claus and all that dumb shit and babies come from storks, but you also shouldn't. They're not adults. You need to let them be children and then let them grow.
Not let them be twerking on TikTok.
Thank you. So here's my point. I represent a person who is I'm Denzel in the Book of Eli. Like I remember when it wasn't the way it is now. It's not dead on me that this is an opportunity to really get out here and help bring people together, because there was a time when you couldn't talk like I can talk on this show. You couldn't talk like you're talking on your show right now. Whites and blacks, when I grew up, we didn't sit together at the lunch table and all that shit. White people sat over there and black people sat over here. We didn't like Bryant Gumbel. Oh, he talked white. When you said the thing about the monolith, no community all agrees, but there is, back in the day, there was more of a majority. Like there was a majority of people all agreed. Like you didn't go to somebody's house and just put your feet up on a table. You didn't just go in their refrigerator. You came in the house. All of us went in the house when the lights went out. When the street lights went off, we all went in the house. We just had an all one way that we kind of were as a community. And now everyone is his own little god in his own little island. So I'm trying to I remember when it won't like this, and I have to take advantage of that. You know what I mean? So I think people also appreciate non-PC conversations. People appreciate candid conversations. I say whatever comes in my fucking head most of the time. Every blue moon, it'll be like, don't say that. No, don't say that. Yeah. And I have to battle. I call it the naughty elf, like that lives in my mouth. I have to tell this elf that, like, shut up, like don't say that. And then I'll be like, yo, grab your nuts, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? And people just like that. So it disarms them completely because I'm flirty. For one, I talk shit and I'm like, oh, hey, like, oh, come on in here, so and so with your fine ass or whatever, blah blah blah. It's a girl. I'm not gonna flirt with dudes like that, but and it disarms them. So now they're pliable and they want to hear the information. So I know there's a strategy to what I'm doing a little bit, and it works on people. If you already like me because you just thought I was funny, or you already liked me because you liked the way I play the music, and then I turn around and start talking, and I'm talking like this, you're gonna be really impressed with that shit, because you thought that I was just. That's why I brought up Farrakhan playing the violin. Here you thought I was just, you loved me for just this, and wow, here's a whole nother whopper of a thing that I do that you don't even know anything about. And like I said, I'm Novakane to everywhere else. People know me for rhyming. They know I can rhyme. So bringing that to people slowly, or showing people that, yeah, I teach too, blah, blah, blah. It's fun, and it really works well for me. People, I get rated because I'm in a raid, because I'm playing the music, and then they like the visuals and they like whatever, my sense of humor, and then they see me just with no background or whatever, teaching, pulling shit on the screen. They're like, wow, she's smart too. That's why it works. That's why it works. And then Twitch doesn't have a lot of this. There's a lot more of this on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. There's a lot more people like doing what I'm doing, like teaching shit. But here, there's not a lot of people doing tutorials unless it's cooking. Other than that, most people are not talking about how you can build a website, or how you can write blogs from home and monetize the blogs, or whatever it is that I'm talking about on a weekly basis.
Yo, that's amazing. Yeah, and that's all straight up facts right there. Like, and that's the type of what's it called? That's the type of streamers that I look for. That was gonna be my next question. Like, what type of streamers and type of content do you enjoy when you're watching, like, as a viewer? Because I personally, like, gaming is dope. Don't get me wrong. Twitch is dope for gaming. I love seeing people game. But for me, it's mainly personality. I'm looking for dope personalities. I'm looking for good conversation. I'm looking for originality. I'm looking for people out there that are not scared to take risk, that are not scared of, like, yo, I'm known for this in my community, and maybe if I try this, it might not get as many viewers, but fuck it, I'm gonna just do it because I enjoy it and I want to do something different tonight, and I don't want to be doing the same fucking game all the time. Like, I enjoy that risk taking. I enjoy the people that are genuinely entertainers, and that's what I'm like. Yo, I'm not a gamer. I mean, I play games. I'm pretty good at games. I'm a streamer, but I'm an entertainer first and foremost. I'm here to entertain, whether that's a freestyle that I do, whether that's a video reaction stream I do, whether that's these interviews that I do, whether it's some games that I play. It's entertainment, and that's what I love. Like, what type of, like, content creators do you look for, and what makes you stick around in somebody's stream?
Hey Senji, how you doing? And Neela.
Sengi Strikes and Nella. Welcome, homies. I'm saying welcome like y'all haven't been here this whole time.
Yeah. I like, you said the word community. I like a stream that has a community. So it's about the streamer, because the streamer, the community in the chat is going to be reflective of the streamer. Yep. But if a streamer doesn't have a community, I don't even care if I really, really like the stream. Well, for one, there's no way I'm gonna really like the stream and you don't have a community. Like, I have to like the chat. If I come in there and I see that everyone's enthused around you, and you're engaging with the chat, and you're saying, like, you're not acting like they aren't in chat, and in fact you apologize before you even started. Like, look, you guys, if I don't acknowledge you, it's because the person's talking a lot. It's because you give a fuck. You understand that these people don't have to be in your chat. They don't. So again, just like the same reason I don't like Kanye West. That's what I don't like about a bad streamer to me, is one who thinks that you owe them some shit. You're supposed to be in their chat. You're supposed to pay them bits. You're supposed to. He said that he was in someone's chat last night, and what she said?
What she said?
Oh yeah, one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life on Twitch. I mean, I don't know if you remember watch Caribbean Rhythms on BET, Rachel Ray, but she was beautiful, right? So I'm in there, of course, I'm a man.
So this woman looked just like Rachel Ray. That's
I'm like, wow, this beautiful sister. She's DJing, da. Check her out, yo. She said, okay. First, she announced that she's ready for her hype train. Okay, so that's how she started.
She's like, I'm ready for y'all to give me a hype train before it started.
Right. And then, no, that ain't the word. Here go to catch up. She said, oh, and I can't do level 1. I can't.
I just can't do level 1.
I left, yo. Unfollowed immediately. Left. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yo.
And like he said she instantly was ugly. She was ugly.
Bitch, get the fuck out of here.
Oh my God. Yo, straight up, yo, blessings. Thank you for joining in here and dropping that wisdom. Blessings on blessings. My man. And I need to interview you sometime. You next up.
Definitely.
You gotta be next up.
Bro.
That's a great interview right there.
Hey, for real. But wow, that's like, yo, yeah, in his shirt, Nappy University.
Nappy University, yeah. In his shirt collection, period. Yo, it's insane.
And
so in a streamer, I need that in music, art, politics. I don't care what it is. If you're not, that's why I cannot like Kanye West, but so much. I can separate and say I like this music, But I can't like it so much because the man behind it, he's not humble. He thinks you owe him. Those of you who think he's so great, he thinks, yeah, of course you think I'm great. That's what he thinks. Fuck that. I'm such an artist. I'm such a musician. Like I'm steeped. I'm such an Aquarius. Like I'm an artist through and through. It's all about expression for me in all of its forms. I do every kind of art. So I can't see myself ever feeling like that about my chat. I can't see myself ever feeling like that about any community I'm in. So that's what I look for just in chat. I definitely look for creativity and someone who is actively like trying to figure out how they can make the experience better. Someone who's always improving their stream. I like visuals. I don't need you to have visuals, but I like for because again, I always tell, because some people will say to me like, your visuals are so, whatever. And I'm like, thank you. But if you really look at my screen, I only have my logo on the screen and I'm in the middle. And if the videos are doing, it's just the fact that the videos are mirrored. And then the videos I pick look good. But really, it's simple. I have a simple looking stream. It's actually very simple. It just seems like it's complicated. My point is, I don't like for people not to consider visuals. I like streamers who consider the stream, they consider the chat, and they're actively working on making that shit awesome. And they make you feel like you're in a world, a community that is built around a thing. I love when streamers, one of my favorite streamers that I just started following is SB_1987. I've never seen anybody run their chat like that. Like I said, he does these things called sneak raids and shit. So he made partner, and I'm totally taking this from him. He made partner, and he I think he has about 4,000 followers or whatever. I think he made partner kind of early, like compared to most people or whatever. But he's all about his chat. He's all about his stream. That's all he cares about. So what they'll do is they'll go to some. So he made partner. So he always has like 130, 150 people in his, just on average. And then if he gets rated, it's in the 200s or whatever it is. So what he'll do is they'll pick a random streamer or a streamer based on whatever. And they'll go over to their chat while they're live. He'll just send his whole community, all 130 people will all go over there. But they don't raid them. They just go over there, they follow, hit them with bits, whatever, hang around for like 15, 20 minutes, and then they go ahead and go. But it's a sneak raid.
Sneak raids.
He does all this other shit, just this really innovative, neat shit that I never even thought to do, and it's all like around his chat and his community. And then it's dope because they talk to each other. He'd be like, man, shut up, you ain't shit. Like they talk mean to each other. They have kind of a mean, they talk shit, so I like streamers that talk shit. I like funny streams. I like to be entertained. I want to be entertained, and I like when streams have a theme. I like when someone's like, okay, tonight we're doing this, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, I just like a well thought out, thoughtful but humble, because as much shit as he talks, he'll bring it right. He's on my radar because he's partnered, and he just showed up in my messages one day. Like, that's amazing. There's another dude that I follow that's a part of his streaming family, and he matter of fact, I was doing each 9 teach 9, and the one guy, he rated me with 166 people, like while I was just teaching some shit. And the SB dude was a part of that community, because it's his that you can have stream teams and stream families and stuff on Twitch, so you'll take on their last name, like, so it'll be like Blak Gurl Gamr _ Team Shellins, or Blak Gurl Gamr. If I was a part of his family, it would be Blak Gurl Gamr _ SB. So the guy that rated me was a part of this dude's stream family, so I got on his radar like that. So then he showed up in my whispers, and the first thing I noticed was that he was partnered, and I'm like, because that's not partner behavior usually the partners don't do that. They think they bigger than you once they hit a certain level. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. But because dick riders treat them like they're better, you see. So that's another reason why I might like Kanye more. If everybody want his dick so much, I never like people who everyone likes a lot, like, or who I never like stuff who to a fault, kind of. Sometimes like everyone will like some shit, and I'm like, let me just wait till nobody think about this, and then I'll revisit it and see if I really like it because I don't want to like it because you like it. I want to like it because I like it. You know. So I don't want to like you because you have a check. But even me, I'm human. I saw the check on his name, and I was like, "What this partner ass nigga doing to my whisper?"
Of course, yeah.
And he was like, "Yo, what's when do you stream again?" Blah 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 blah. I was like, "I stream this time." So when you stream again, he's like, "Blah blah blah." So when I streamed next, he showed up. When he streamed next, actually he forgot. He wasn't able to show up the one time, but I showed up in his stream, and he told his community. He said, "See y'all. I told y'all if you show love to people and get down in and get in these chats and spend time with people, it pays off. This is how you grow a community.
That's how you
by
grow.
not being too big, the blah 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 blah." So he's always talking about how to grow a page, all these cool things you can do to make sure that your community grows and that people fuck with you going forward. And so my favorite stream is the kind of stream where I would come see it no matter what you are doing. I try to have that kind of stream. I feel like I could just talk and really have a lot of people in my stream. I could game and have a lot of people. I could play music and have a lot of people. I definitely could rhyme or do anything like that. I can do art. You're there to see me. You're there to see my take on the thing. Those are my favorite streams.
Hey, that's big facts. And like, I was gonna say, because the first time you were like, it has to be like some type of interaction with the community. But I was like, yo, when I started off, I had no chat, right? I had no community for like the first 2 months. I was just talking with my homie Flazzy, and I was just talking with my wife, and that was it. And so like, if you ever came into my chat or to my stream or whatever, it would have been trash because like I had nobody in there. But the difference is, that shit was boot camp to me because I was talking my ass off. Even if nobody was in there, I was in there and I was like, yo, narrating what the game was like, talking about my day. Even if there was nobody, that shit was straight up boot camp for me. I'm like, yo, the day that there is 100 people in that chat, I'm a veteran in this shit.
Be a vet.
I know how to talk shit. I know how to fucking talk to chat. I know how to go from the game to this. Like, and my man Flazzy been there since the first day, man. Like a legend.
It's like training in fucking 100 gravity. You know what I mean? 10 times gravity and shit. On some Goku shit. You know what I mean? Like when you get in normal gravity, you good. You know what I mean?
Straight up.
Like,
I love that shit. Yo, this has been an amazing conversation. What kind of advice do you have to anybody out there? Because you do a lot, right? And I love the stuff that you do. What kind of advice do you have to anybody who wants to get into DJing, who wants to get into streaming, who wants to get into any of like the content creation?
One, go ahead, just do it. Put yourself out there. Don't worry about so much what people I mean, I'm not going to say don't consider what people think. You always want to consider what your audience thinks, but don't let it dictate, what you're going to do. If you really love DJing, it'll come through. Well, that's if you are a DJ already, but or you want to get into it, whatever. Have a love for the craft, and it's going to shine through, and the people that you want to attract are going to come. What's that movie? Fields of Dreams or whatever it was. If you build it, they will come. That's what she said. But if you build it, if you build it, they'll come. So like like you just said, you were projecting yourself into the future of what you saw your channel being like, and you were just acting as if it was that way already. And again, back to Kanye, that's something I like about Kanye.
Yeah, that's the admirable.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm the shit, and you can't tell me I'm not, and I'm gonna make y'all see that I'm the shit. Or die trying, Yeah. So I have nothing but respect for anyone that does that. Who, grab your nuts a little,
Yeah.
Grab your nuts and feel yourself.
Grab your nuts and feel yourself.
Because no one's gonna feel you if you don't feel yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's what she said, and that's what you got to do. As far as if you want to get into DJing, I've been doing it for a year. I started DJing on Twitch. I started DJing because my birthday came. Well. We don't really celebrate Christmas, but we still give the children like gifts and shit. We don't be like, oh, Santa brought these. I mean, they know, we don't want to rob them of the joy of holidays because Christmas is some bullshit. We still get them gifts. So they were getting, now they're getting older. They don't even want nothing. But when they did want some, we was like, okay, maybe they might want to get into DJing. We're going to get them a controller. And then my friend brought the controller over here. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I didn't think I was going to want to use the controller and him. We learned how to use it so we could teach the boys how to use it, and that was it. That they never saw that control. Like that became my control. You know what I mean? Like so, I had my birthday is January 30th. So Christmas is December 25th. So just a month later, my birthday came. So my friend taught me how to use the controller. I always put myself up here as a variety streamer. I knew that I was not just gonna want a game only or just I knew I was gonna do tutorials. I knew I was gonna play games and possibly do some shit with music or something like that. So I started DJing. All my gaming community and gaming friends, they were like, when are you going to DJ again? When are you going to DJ again? They just kept saying that. And next thing you know, it just became the thing. And like I said, when I would do it, I'm like, okay, because not all musicians like gaming, but all gamers like music. You know, everybody like music. So you can kill a lot more birds that way, you know, by DJing. And I kind of just used it to get on people's radar, to kind of just get me on their radar. So now I'm enjoying the fruits of that. Most people, when they introduce me, that's why I like rating people, because you get to hear what people think about you. If you rate people, they'll go, oh, you know, this is XAVE. Like if you were to rate me now, I'm gonna be like, y'all gotta check XAVE out. You know, he's smart. You know, he's youthful. He's passionate. You know what I mean? You know, his community, they go hard. They're supportive. They love him. You know, it's good shit over there. He interviewed me. You know, if y'all got anything y'all want to offer, y'all might want to hit the man up. You know, he's good people, blah, blah, blah. You would get to hear what I thought about you. You know what I mean? Or whatever. So that's why I like raids and stuff. But yeah, that's my advice. Just, I know it might sound cliche, corny, but you really putting yourself out there is everything. I can't even tell you I'm sure you can relate as a streamer, the amount of days where I was like sitting here debating on like popping up, and I'm like, I got some free time, I should stream. And I'm in here, I'm looking at Twitch, it's kind of jumping. I see like all the channels are kind of up and it's jumping, and I'm feeling that feeling. And I'm like, fuck it, let me just go ahead and pop up. And that's the night when I made like, you know, I got the big stupid raid, or, you know, I made all the, you know, I got all the bits and the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like that every time. But my point is, if you don't put yourself out there, you know, streaming is a lot like it's fishing. You know, you can't guarantee what fish you're gonna catch, but you gotta throw the line out there. You know, because you don't know what's gonna bite. You don't know what's under the water. But if your line ain't in the water, you're not gonna catch no fucking fish, guaranteed. So,
nothing. Closed mouth don't get fed.
Closed mouth don't get fed. So you gotta at least do that. Start there. Then everything you should do after that will start to. It reminds me of when you make music. Music kind of tells you what it needs. Like you'll be making a beat or you'll be making a song, and you're like, this is missing something. Yep. You know, but the reason why you know it's missing something is because you're making it. You wouldn't think it was missing anything if you weren't making a song. Like you're in the middle of making something happen, and now that thing is giving you its own feedback. It's like, well, I need a kick, or I need a little hi-hat, or maybe maybe you should put this in the rhyme, or whatever it is. Or when you're cooking a soup or something like that, you taste it, it tells you now what it needs. So all you have to do is get started. But if you never start making the soup, you're not going to get the benefit of the soup, talking to you and telling you, okay, I need a little salt, I need a little sugar, whatever it is. So it's the same way with a stream. You got to build it just starting. You can't also though, project yourself into the future and all, but also be on the level you're on. Take your time. There's this movie, I speak in analogies, you guys. So
I love it.
Thank you. There's this movie called The 36 Chambers. It's the Shaolin Master Killer. It's a classic fucking foo flick. Run Shaw
movie.
You know what I mean? Definitely. You know what I mean? Run Shaw, Gordon Liu, just one of the most classic foo flicks of all time. So it's about the 36 chambers, right? That's where Wu-Tang got that shit from. It's about, that's why he said there are only 35 chambers. There is no 36. And he's like, I know that. I want to make a new ass chamber. But before he got to that, he had to go through all the 35 chambers. And in that particular movie, you go up to Shaolin and you start your training. And you can't leave the chamber you're in until you master the chamber. Yep. I don't care how long. If you were in there for 10 years, you just was in there for 10 years. Life is like that. You be on the level you're on. So this is different than stay in your lane. Don't stay in your lane, but kind of. Like, there's some people always diss stay in your lane, but that's how you keep from getting in a car accident. I mean, it's not.
Stay in your lane.
There's something good to staying in, knowing your lane.
Yep.
And freaking
mastering it.
Mastering it. And then when it's time, that's what I said about the rhyme. And I'm like, I've kind of outgrown it a little because I've written every rhyme there is to write. I've said it every which way. I've rehearsed a cappella. I've performed in front of literally it was like 2,000 people. However many was at the joint or whatever. KRS-One came. We opened for this nigga. We opened for Sadat X. You know what I mean? And more. I've done it. So now it's just like, okay, now I can say this or I can say that. But a lot of us, we want to be Kanye, and we don't want to pay the Kanye dues. Kanye did pay dues.
He paid his dues.
Lots of dues.
He grinded through the
Yeah, and with people not liking him, he paid troll dues where people don't even fuck with you, and you still, make it or whatever like that. So master the lane you're at. When you're at that lower level, you first start streaming, be content with the 2 people that are in the chat, because they don't have to be there either.
Yep.
I remember when there was 3 people in my shit. I have like about 12 gaming videos that I kept from when I first was gaming. Some of these shits are masterpieces to me. Like, they are fucking hilarious. Like, hilarious gaming commentary that if I had a lot of followers, they would just eat it up. It's just, I'm sorry, it's just good shit. But there were 2 people in there. I remember when I first got raided, you know, I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even see it. I didn't say anything because I didn't even know what it was. You know what I mean? I didn't even know I had been raided or what it was.
Yeah.
But my stream was interesting as shit, you know, on that level with what I could do. I was doing the best that I could with what I had. And then next thing you know, there were 10 people on average, and then 20 and 30, and now I'm averaging 40 or 50 people a stream. And I get big fucking raids.
I love that shit.
300 people in the raids and stuff like that. So it's working now.
Blessings to your success.
Snowball, thank you, and you too. The snowball is there, but I had to pay my dues. You know,
everybody,
what I mean? And I had to live with the fact that no one knows me as people on the other platforms. They know me as Novakane. I'm spoiled. It's kind of like being Lauren. She can go anywhere and do anything because people gonna be like, Lauren.
That's Lauren.
She's like royalty. Lauren's here. I'm like that local. You know what I mean? Like people who know me, they're like, oh,
that's Novakane. Yeah.
It's Novakane.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to not be Novakane over here. I'm like, nah, I want to just start fresh and see what I can do. You know what I mean? So I'm Blak Gurl Gamr, and now y'all discovering this whole background, and that just props me up even more. But I had to sit through months of people not knowing who I am, and I'm used to me motherfuckers knowing who I am. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
I like that shit a lot. I like when people don't know, and I gotta prove myself all over again.
Ooh, you got me inspired. You got me inspired. Yeah. You got me. I'm like, yo, I'm about to stream again tomorrow. Nah, for real. That shit was inspirational. It has been amazing. I have to go. So if not, this conversation could literally be 4 or 5 hours. This is amazing conversation. This is not the last time.
This is dope. I didn't really know what to expect. I decided to not research because sometimes when I'm going to be on someone's joint and I've never been over or whatever, I decided to, well, really with you, you got on my radar because I on some SB 1987, I do have a policy like, okay, if someone ever rated me, or if someone ever just spent time or money or anything in my chat, if I can, because I'm real busy, but if I see that they're on, I'm going over there. You know
Check it out,
yeah. So this kind of this you know, now you're never not going to be on my radar. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be looking. This was dope. This is real dope. Your questions was fire. You know what I mean? And
fam now, homie.
Yeah.
Hey, hell yeah. You next up on the hot seat. You definitely next up on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Appreciate looking out for the wife and everything.
Of course.
Like, all we got is us on Twitch. That's my saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So, straight up, man.
My nigga.
Nah, you fam for real. This was amazing. I love anybody that I can have genuine conversation with. Disagreements and all, we learn. That's the only way to learn. You're not gonna learn nothing with a bunch of yes men and people in an echo chamber. Exactly.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Straight up.
Reverb,
what are we doing? Just jerking each other off, and that's not what we're doing here.
Jerk circle.
Jerk circle. Oh my God. Yo, have an amazing night. Thank you so much for being here. This is not the last time. Hey, peace.
Peace, you guys.
Blessings on blessings to y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon.